speed. Both great open field runners. Taking turns in the lineup, their stats are almost identical. Hilliard, 277 yards, James, 273. Between them, 7 of the team's 15 touchdowns. Tennessee has a kicking game that's second to none. That's Miss Illinois between punter Jimmy Colquitt and place kicker Faud Reveiz, both preseason All-Americans. But the man behind the success of Tennessee's kicking program is 68-year-old assistant coach George Caffago. One of his first pupils was Tennessee coach Johnny Majors, who boots this 59-yard quick kick against Alabama in 1956.
He is an expert in the kicking game, the coaching of the techniques of punters and placement kickers. And I told him I would break his leg if he ever decided to leave.
I bring them out a couple hours early, work them out, and see if they get the right things done at the right time, and then I take off. I watch them a little bit of practice, but I don't do much. But every now and then I'll make a suggestion or something, and if they like it, fine. If they don't, they can throw it in the wastebasket. That's about the extent of it.
Reveiz has one of the strongest legs in football. Last year, he made 8 out of 10 field goals from over 50 yards. He'll be fun to watch. We'll have the rest of the scores in a moment. Trailing 34-7. Alabama fights back. Down 34-28. 4th and goal. Time running out. A touchdown. Yes? No. The official says he's out of bounds past the end zone. Take another look. What do you think? Well, it doesn't matter what you think. The official says he's out, but there was a penalty. Alabama against second chance, but the defense stops Kerry Good, and Penn State hands Alabama its first loss of the year, 34-28. Joe Paterno has now done it all. Before today, the only thing he had not won was a game against Alabama. He gets his first.
Stadium, Knoxville, Tennessee. Over 90,000 fans here to see the Big Orange. Number 6, Alan Cockrell, Tennessee quarterback, completing over 50% of his passes for 5 touchdowns, like this one to number 88, Tim McGee. Cockrell can also run it in himself behind a strong, experienced offensive line. And on defense, watch for All-American tackle Reggie White. But the Tigers of LSU are here, and they have showed up hungry. LSU has never beaten Tennessee in Knoxville, but the Dalton James gang's never been here either. Number 33 is Gary James, 3 touchdowns already. Number 21 is Dalton Hilliard, 4 touchdowns. The best tailback combination in the nation. A crucial Southeastern Conference game live from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville.
Presents Primetime NCAA College Football. Tonight's game features the SEC battle between the Tigers of LSU and the Volunteers of Tennessee. Brought to you by Chevrolet. Chevrolet is USA 1, and USA 1 is taking charge. By America's #1 imported beer, Heineken. Just say, come to think of it, I'll have a Heineken. By AC Delco, General Motors Corporation quality replacement parts. By AT&T, more than a new look, a new outlook. And by Cable News Network and CNN Headline News.
It's another sellout crowd at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee. On the banks of the Tennessee River, they're expecting more than 90,000 people here at Neyland Stadium tonight. Hi, everybody. This is Bob Neal along with Tim Foley, and we're in the middle of Big Orange country, and the LSU Tigers have come to town. Tennessee's 2-2, LSU 2-2. Both teams have 1 loss in the conference. LSU has never won here. An electric atmosphere tonight in Knoxville, Tim.
Unbelievable. You can feel the energy out there. We're going to see an exceptional football game tonight. LSU has got a boatload of offense. Just going to be excitement-filled. They've got Hilliard and James running the football. Wickersham's got a fantastic arm. He gets the ball out there to Martin and Fontenot. The key for Tennessee is going to be their ability to control the ball on offense. Keep it away from that powerful Tiger offense.
I can't wait to watch Tennessee's potential All-American defensive tackle either. Reggie White, what a player.
Jerry Stovall said that he's a good player, that he doesn't have to prove it to him, and he certainly is not going to run toward him more than he has to. but they feel like they have to challenge him too, because I think that the guy's best when the ball's going away from him. Got great quickness for a big man.
And speaking of the Tennessee offense, they've been stuttering around a little bit. Johnny Majors told me yesterday he thinks this is one of the better Tennessee teams, but their turnover ratio has been killing them. Tennessee's turned the ball over 11 times in 4 games. Their opponents only 4 times, so they're going to have to try to avoid the mistakes. A big interception last week thrown by Alan Cockrell, but he's a good, versatile quarterback.
He really is, but he hasn't performed up to their preseason expectations as of yet.
And now the teams are coming onto the field. You'll be hearing the crowd cheer in just a moment as both LSU and Tennessee are about to come out here. There's Johnny Majors now. Tennessee has beaten New Mexico in the Citadel. They lost to Pittsburgh and Auburn. Of course, Johnny Majors, who is an alumnus of Tennessee, came here after winning the national championship at the University of Tennessee, at the University of Pittsburgh. There you see the captains coming onto the field from the Volunteers of Tennessee. You can tell who's about to come out here. There they are now at Neyland Stadium. The voices of 91,000 people. There are 15,000 UT students in attendance. 5,000 are here from LSU and Baton Rouge, fans from all over the state of Louisiana. So there's a big LSU contingent here, but they're swallowed up in this second largest stadium in America. Only Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor is larger. So 90 to 94,000 will be here tonight. The LSU Tigers are about to be introduced onto the football field right now. LSU 2-2 also. They're winners over Rice and Washington, but LSU lost to both of the Florida schools. Florida State in the season opener, and then the University of Florida just last week. And for LSU, that was a heartbreaking loss, Tim.
They were in both of the games. The score last week against Florida was extremely deceptive. LSU ready to go in at the end of the game, had an interception, and the next play Florida had a long run for a touchdown. This LSU football team is competitive, and as you mentioned earlier, it's such an important game for both these teams. They don't want to have 2 losses in the conference at this point in the season.
You know, normally any football team coming in here to Neyland Stadium for a Saturday night game that's on live national television would be probably a little bit jumpy. But the Tigers are used to playing in front of crowds like this down in Baton Rouge. So in that sense, it probably the crowd won't make as big a difference as it might in some other situation.
That's true. Bert Jones is in the next booth, and he's doing some TV work over there, and he was talking about the crowd noise. They certainly don't have to get used to the crowd noise. When you hear about crowds and the intimidation of crowds, the first team that you hear about is LSU.
We were talking to Jerry Stovall just this morning about his great quarterback. Alan Risher was the quarterback at LSU last year. LSU just had an exceptional season and came back and surprised a lot of people. Stovall himself was coach of the year in some of the polls, and he said, you know, he didn't really know what happened. He had a kid named Bird, and he had Wickersham coming back, and all of a sudden Wickersham stepped forward and has just pleased Jerry Stovall a great deal.
I mean, he's got him on a plan, kind of a 3-month plan, and we'll talk more about that as the game develops. But he's very pleased with the way this young man has come along. Offensively, they've tried to keep things simple because they didn't want to confuse him and give him too much to deal with too early in the season. And he's got such great running backs that there's no reason for Wickersham to have to carry too much of a load too early in the season.
And he likes to. He has 4.6 40 speed, but Jerry Stovall said we try to talk him out of carrying it a great deal. He says we want him to either take it down or take it out, meaning take it to the ground or take it out of bounds when he runs the ball. But sometimes Wickersham does like to move around with it a little bit. Now, LSU's defense, we talked about Tennessee. They've been playing very well on defense, Tennessee has. LSU's been having a rebuilding year. They had to replace a lot of players, and that's been one of their question marks.
It really has been a problem for them. They lost 7 starters, and not only that, they lost 3 backups. So they lost 10 people that figured into their defense last year, and that's starting all over again. And they're playing a lot of freshmen tonight and a lot of sophomores. And experience is something that usually comes to play after you need it, and they're learning.
There come the Tigers from LSU in their white visiting uniforms, led onto the field by Jerry Stovall. And the Tigers, who have never won here in Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, believe that or not, they have never won playing here in Knoxville. They did tie Tennessee in Baton Rouge last year, but they have not won here. They're going to try to do it tonight. They'll have to do it over the Volunteers. We'll be back in a moment on the bank of the Tennessee River. The 20th meeting of the Tigers of Louisiana State University and the Volunteers of the University of Tennessee. You see the Volunteers lead 14-2-3. They met the first time way back in 1925. Had a very big barn burner game in 1959 we'll tell you about, and not a bad one last year. Tennessee came from behind to tie it up at 24-24. The teams are on the field now. They had the coin toss. Tennessee won the toss, declined the option of deciding whether to kick off or receive in the first half. That went to LSU. LSU has decided to receive the ball. Tennessee will get to make that decision when they come out to begin the second half. The receivers for LSU, number 8, Norman Jefferson, number 33, Gary James. James is a speed merchant. He runs a 4.5 40, and Norman Jefferson is a youngster, and he can get loose too. And there's the kicker from Tennessee, a preseason All-American. His name, Faud Reveiz. Crowd on their feet here at Neyland Stadium, and this game is underway. Down to Jefferson. Jefferson goes down at the 20-yard line. It'll be LSU ball. Chris White, number 7, making the tackle for Tennessee. Now let's have a look at that offensive backfield for LSU. Replacing the graduating Alan Risher, this is Jeff Wickersham. Dalton Hilliard, LSU's leading rusher. He'll alternate each series with Gary James, and this is the man who blocks for both of them. 5'11", 200, Gene Lang. He's a senior. Opening play of the ball game from the line of scrimmage for the Tigers of LSU. To the tailback, Dalton Hilliard, only a couple off left guard. Johnny Williams making the tackle. These are the men who catch the ball for LSU, and they'll be catching it often. Here is Herman Fontenot. He is the flanker. He's in motion a lot. Eric Martin, LSU's leading receiver, 18 catches, 2 touchdowns. The tight end is Mitch Andrews, number 83. Second down, 8. Wickersham. It's incomplete, intended for 82, Junius Doral, who will be alternating at the flanker position with Herman Fontenot. We'll also be seeing Guy Mackey going in and out with Eric Martin a little bit. Now let's look at the offensive line for LSU, and it's a good one. Lance Smith, 75, Tim, is going to have his hands full against Reggie White.
Yeah, but they're both preseason All-Americans, so it should be a great matchup for us to watch as the night progresses.
First third down conversion of the evening. 3rd and long. 3rd down 8 for the Tigers of LSU. Jeff Wickersham, the quarterback. LSU's been converting less than 50% of their 3rd down situations. 5 defensive backs in there for the Volunteers. It's a draw. 25 is the fullback, Gene Lang. He stopped short of the first down. Number 45, Carl Zander, Tennessee linebacker, made the tackle. First man on the stop, and we have a punting situation. 3 downs and out for LSU. Coming in for the Tigers to punt will be number 1, Clay Parker, who's averaging 40.3 per punt. He has a good hang time. Barefoot punter, as you see. Got tape across his instep. And 88, Tim McGee, will be back deep to take the punt for Tennessee. He's standing at his 30-yard line.
Kicking game's going to play a big part in the outcome of this football game tonight, Bob. After you have these teams so closely matched, things on the kicking team are very important.
Fair catch by McGee way back at the 25-yard line. A nice punt by Clay Parker. He got it up there and no return at all. And now the Volunteers will go on offense to begin this football game. Tennessee 2-2, and they're led by Alan Cockrell, the quarterback. Cockrell is very versatile. He has had an earache. You see cotton in his left ear there. This is Chuck Coleman, the tailback. He'll alternate with Johnny Jones. And they call this guy Too Hard to Handle Randall, the fullback. First down 10, Tennessee at their own 25. Opening moment in the ball game. No score. LSU went 3 downs and out. Here's Coleman off the right side, out to the 28-yard line. Tackled by 57, Sean Burks, the LSU inside linebacker. Now the men will be catching the ball for the University of Tennessee. Lenny Taylor is the split end, 14 catches, 1 TD. Clyde Duncan, the leading receiver, with 15 and 2 touchdowns. And there are 2 tight ends who will be playing tonight. John Cook, the pass-catching tight end, and John Matthews, a former tackle, who will be playing some tackle tonight. When Matthews, 86, plays tackle, he'll be wearing 72. On third and short, incomplete. On second down and short, incomplete. Clyde Duncan, the intended receiver.
Tennessee has started the game, Bob, with 3 tight ends.
There's the offensive line, and Bill Mayo, that right guard's one of the big, hard-hitting players for Tennessee. They think a lot of him, Tim.
They really do. Got a lot of strength. That's a good, solid offensive line right there. I said 3 tight ends. Of course, I meant 3 wide receivers. They don't have a tight end in the football game at the present time.
Third down 7, UT. LSU couldn't get started, and now Tennessee seeing if they can convert. Volunteers converting on just over half of their third down situations. Here's Cockrell, runs out of the pocket, and he's got good speed. Up to about the 37-yard line, Greg Dubrock made the tackle after Cockrell picked up a Tennessee first down.
In the past couple of games, Cockrell has had a problem at the line of scrimmage. He started to check off and then has called timeout. This time LSU disguised the defense, gave him a blitz look, went to a zone. He didn't like what he saw and ran out of there. He's going to have to do that for Tennessee to be able to maintain possession of the football tonight.
First down 10, Volunteers at the 37-yard line of Tennessee. 2 receivers off the bottom of your screen. They run it to the right side, out to the 41-yard line. Chuck Coleman carrying the ball, and nose guard Roland Barbay, number 77, making the tackle for LSU. Penalty marker is down.
They've really got 2 styles of running back, Bob, in Coleman and Jones. And Coleman's more their outside runner. He's a great receiver, good quickness. They want to take it up the middle. They put Johnny Jones in the game, more of a slashing runner.
There's the signal from tonight's referee. That is Dick Burleson. We might mention that sometimes we'll be hearing the voice of Dick Burleson on our telecast tonight. You'll hear him on the television. Sometimes you won't. We are having interference from a radio station in the Knoxville area getting on the referee's microphone. You see he has a transmitter in his pocket that's transferred up here about 13, 14 stories high above the field. And so in lieu of bringing you some rock and roll music, we'll be telling you what the signals are.
We'll get the Doobie Brothers on here.
Let's see if we hear him. I just heard it. Hope you enjoyed that. That was a chop block, illegal chop block, as you saw. The call against Tennessee, and they move it all the way back to 24-yard line. As you look at the defensive lineup for LSU, John Fritchie, an excellent linebacker. Jeffrey Dale and Lippert Hobley, I should say. They're 2 safeties, maybe the best 2 in the SEC. That's the opinion of a lot of people. Number 12 of the ball is Randall Morris. Makes up some of the yardage lost on the penalty, out to the 33-yard line.
I think you're going to see Tennessee take a conservative approach to the game offensively tonight. They don't want any turnovers in their own territory. They don't want to give LSU any advantages offensively.
For Tennessee, second down, and now let's call it 15. Backs in an eye, receivers off the bottom of your screen, 1 to the top. Here's Cockrell under some pressure. He throws it as he goes down, and the ball's almost intercepted, incomplete. Sean Burks, number 57, in on the play. There he is getting up now for LSU's Tigers.
Here's the pressure that Cockrell's going to be looking at all night long. This strong safety, Jeff Dale, coming from the bottom of your screen. I don't know if you'll see him in the picture. There he is, sliding in, slashing in. And he gets an armful of the quarterback there. They're going to have to be able to handle that, Bob, because LSU will come after you all night long.
It'll be third down 15. Alan Cockrell, as you can see, about half of his passes, a little more than that, complete on the year. Cockrell has thrown 4 interceptions. The screen pass to the right side. Not much yardage, though, if anything. Chuck Coleman, the receiver, 35, knocked out of bounds by Greg Dubrock, the left outside linebacker. And there's Chuck Coleman, had only 3 catches on the season in 4 games coming into this game. And now the Tennessee kicking game goes to work. Jimmy Colquitt is Tennessee's punter. He, too, was selected preseason All-American. How'd you like to have your punter and your kicker selected preseason All-American? Colquitt's been a little bit inconsistent this year for him, but is averaging 43.9 yards per punt. Tennessee has problems covering punts. Opponents have been returning the punts of Colquitt, sometimes nearly as much as 30 yards. Let's see what LSU does. It is Jefferson back. Look at that punt. Return here. Jefferson fair catches at the 11. Oh, what a punt by Jimmy Colquitt. We'll get out the calculator and tell you how long it was. It was 55 yards. The pride of the the Southland Band having a good time. 11:25 to go in quarter number 1, a scoreless ball game. It'll be LSU ball deep in Tiger territory when we return to Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. I told you both these schools have one loss in the conference. Earlier we talked to Jerry Stovall, LSU's head coach, and asked him just how important this game was in relationship to the conference standings.
Any team that falls 2 conference games behind at this early point in the season would really have to say they have very little chance to win our conference. To win this week would be a very important game for us. We can go and have a great season and be in major bowl contention, but it's a game that's a must game for both teams, yes.
A must game for both teams, and that says it all. First down 10, LSU from the 12. Backs in an eye, receiver split wide left and right. It's the tailback, Gary James. The other part of the Dalton James gang. Out to the 19-yard lines and out of bounds. Tackle made by Tommy Sims, number 16, the left corner for Tennessee. There's Gary James.
Whenever you're running to the strong side of the formation, a tight end, a good blocking tight end is a necessity. And Mitch Andrews has really come along for LSU. On that play, did a great job on Reggie McKenzie, allowing James to turn the corner.
It'll be second down, long 1 to go. Good field level view from our TBS cameras. Now from up above, there's the motion. Number 82, Doral. Field by the All-American, Reggie White, number 92. You'll be seeing that happen a lot tonight if Tennessee has its defensive way.
He has to slice to the inside of Lance Smith and just puts it on James. Just an excellent play from a fine athlete. And as Bob mentioned, we're going to see this several times tonight. And that's one reason why coaches have tended to run away from the young man.
Now third down 2, LSU. 10:44 to go, quarter number 1. No score in the game. Wickersham pitches to James. Wants to go outside. Nothing happening there. A loss on the play. Great defensive penetration. Number 14, Terry Brown. Number 54, Dale Jones. 2 freshmen led the way for the Volunteers. Number 22, Charles Davis, was also in on the play.
Excellent work by Dale Jones, getting that play upfield, holding off the blocker, staying on his feet, and still able to grab the runner.
Parker had a 48-yard punt first time. He's standing right on his own 5 when he hits it. Barefoot punter, not a very good punt. Going to take an LSU bounce, now Tennessee's way, and the beanbag goes down at the 48-yard line. That's where the official, I think, may say that the LSU player touched the ball. We'll find out where they mark it officially in just a moment. Back up field of the 48. That's where the Volunteers will take over with excellent field position and the first break in the ball game of sorts. These are 2 big teams slugging it out just like boxers, feeling each other out, looking for an opening. We'll see what the Volunteers do when we return. 17th through the 23rd, communities throughout the country will make an investment in America's greatest resource, its youth, by supporting National High School Activities Week. The National Federation of State High School Associations urges you to support these valuable programs which enhance classroom performance. The preceding message provided by the NCAA. It will be first down 10. Tennessee Volunteers just outside the Tennessee 47-yard line. Coleman, Henderson are the running backs for Tennessee. A loss on the play for Coleman of about a yard. Tackle made by 77 Roland Barbet of LSU. You know, one of the great things about visiting colleges all across the nation for TBS Saturday night and Thursday night games is the unique flavor of each college. And one of the things that makes colleges so different are their play-by-play announcers, the voice of each team. One of the most famous in the country is the voice of John Ward, who's on the Volunteer Radio Network, and we're going to join him on audio from time to time throughout the night, so you'll get an idea of what Volunteer fans on their radio network get to hear. He's a great one. There's Coleman out to the 50 and stopped there. Chuck Coleman, the tailback, 5'10", 175. He wears number 35. Will alternate a little bit at the tailback position with Johnny Jones.
Cook, the tackle turn tight end. He switches jerseys during the game. Was that tight end on that first toss, and they ran the ball to him. Let's see what they'll do here.
It's 3rd down 7, Tennessee. Slot right formation. Sprint out. Cockrell throwing. Almost picked off, incomplete at the 40. Alex Clark, number 19, the senior from Lake Charles, almost picked it off. They were trying to hit number 24, Clyde Duncan, Tennessee's leading receiver.
If the defense is going to blitz you a lot, this is a good play. You have time to get away from the blitz, avoid the pressure, and get Cockrell outside the pocket where he's got better vision. It was a great drop by the cornerback, Clark.
In 3 plays, Tennessee able to move the ball only about 3 yards. And now Colquitt is in to punt again. He had a 55-yarder on his first punt. Number 8, Norman Jefferson, is deep. It's going to go down and out of bounds at the 16-yard line. And Jimmy Colquitt puts it out of bounds on the near sideline inside the 20. Of course, one of the things punters want to do most. He's a great one, and Tennessee has had a whole bunch of them over the years. We'll be right back to Neyland Stadium. No score. There's the Tiger mascot from LSU. It is 1st down 10, Tigers from their own 16. Scoreless game, 8:23 to go, quarter number 1. In motion, number 40, Herman Fontenot. There's the handoff to Craig Rathjen. Rathen is the backup fullback, number 13, a freshman from Houston. Tackle made by 45, Carl Zander. Rathen's averaged 9.3 yards per carry, as you see. It has 1 TD.
Now that's 6 runs compared to 1 throw for LSU. Before long, you're going to see LSU start to open up a little bit, start getting the ball to the backs through the air to see if Tennessee can cover them.
On a 2nd down 7 from the 19. Wickersham completes the pass close to a 1st down. Went out to Dalton Hilliard, number 21. And Alvin Tolles, number 44, the man who made the play for Tennessee, that inside linebacker, they think he may become an All-American one day.
He hasn't been a linebacker very long. He was a fullback, and they moved him in the spring, and he's just become an outstanding linebacker from getting around the ball all the time. Tennessee plays mostly zone on defense. And I was talking to George Katavos before the game, and he's their secondary coach, an ex-Purdue fella. He used to be my babysitter back in college to take care of me.
You know he's going to be a tough player if he can babysit Tim Floyd.
Right, yeah. I know his wife, Tona's watching. Hello, Tona. But they play a lot of zone. And against zone, what works well, drop the ball to the backs, 5-6 yards. Get them out of that zone. Get them into man-to-man coverage if you can.
Field level shot from Shields Watkin Field. That's what they call the field here at Neyland Stadium. Handoff over the right side, not much. That was Craig Rathen carrying the ball for LSU. Tackle made by 92, Reggie White. Look at it again and watch 92, an All-American.
It can be such a devastating factor when you got a player like that. Look at the movement inside, the quickness. It's always amazing to me how these guys that weigh 260 pounds can be that agile.
There's going to be a great matchup tonight. You saw 75 not block Reggie White, but it was called that way, the right tackle, and Lat Smith was going around trying to get a linebacker. He didn't miss White. White just slid in, however, and made the tackle anyway. Looks like Mike Gambrell, the center, is going off the field with a sore ankle. They'll check him over on the side. Hopefully just a cramp. You see him grabbing the left calf muscle there. And the backup comes in, number 53, Tom Campbell. Fortunately for LSU, Tim, both those guys have played some.
They like to alternate their centers.
Second down 8. Wickersham. Incomplete. Penalty marker down. 6:27 to go, first quarter. Pass was intended for 13, Craig Rathen. Johnny Majors, head coach, University of Tennessee.
He's had an outstanding coaching career. Rebuilt the Iowa State program, then the Pittsburgh program, and he's in process here at Tennessee.
What a great year he had in 1976 with Tony Dorsett, University of Pittsburgh, defeating Georgia in the Sugar Bowl and a national championship. A lot of pressure coaching at your own school, which, of course, Majors is doing here. He was an All-American tailback. And the same is true, really, for Jerry Stovall of LSU.
That's correct. Both of them have had a lot of coaching changes, and that doesn't help in terms of the continuity because the assistant coaches are the ones that really relate to the players and spend the most time with the players.
Holding is the call gets Tennessee after the meeting of the officials down on the field. That's going to draw a boo here at Neyland Stadium.
The Stovall has employed the one quarterback system at LSU for so long. They used two quarterbacks. Even Burt Jones wasn't a starter. He was alternating all the time. Jerry told this Wickersham in the spring, said, son, you're going to be my quarterback. One thing you don't have to worry about
defense
is who's going to be the quarterback. Just worry about getting better. And he's tried to build this young man's confidence, and he's really on track. He's
and he
off
is
to a great
better.
start this season.
Averaging 271 yards total offense per game is Jeff Wickersham. He was a high school All-American, Merritt Island, Florida. 1st and 10 out to the 38-yard line. Big call there to help LSU. This is Dalton Hilliard to the 43-yard line, and down he goes. Stop made by the Big Orange, number 83, Ricky Holt.
Hilliard's going to read the block of the tight end. If the tight end doesn't have the linebacker hooked, then he's going to start looking upfield for a seam. Those offensive linemen are just trying to stay in the face of the defensive linemen. They're not necessarily trying to move them one way or another. They're just trying to get in between the ball carrier and the defensive person. Just stick with that defensive lineman.
It will be 2nd down 4 from the 44. LSU ball to the tailback Hilliard. First down to the 49-yard line of Tennessee. Number 45, Carl Zander, making the stop for the Volunteers. Take a look at the blocking assignment from the end zone camera.
Just a little slide to the left, and Barry and Fordham and Gambrell and Langford Smith go to work. There's that seam that they look for.
What did Jerry Stovall say? We'll give you the seam. You give us an extra yard and fall forward. Hilliard and James give them more than an extra yard. First down from the 49. LSU entering Tennessee territory. First time tonight. Wickersham, a lot of time. Screen pass complete. It's the number 13 fullback, Craig Raffin. And Raffin gets to the 46-yard line. Ricky Holt, Tennessee's left outside linebacker, with the tackle. Volunteer defense has been improved this year. They call it a defensive renaissance here.
Great job by Ricky Holt there. He never did get too deep in a drop. When he saw the screen coming, got right up in the middle of it. Prevented it from developing.
There you go. When your big scholarship player like Dubrock is there for LSU, they have a personal guy to lace your shoes on the sideline. 2nd down 7 from the 46-yard line of Tennessee. Slot left formation. Sweep left. Dalton Hilliard, number 21. He's got the first down. He's got more to the 31-yard line. Number 22, free safety Charles Davis, making the tackle for Tennessee. LSU starting to move the ball on the Volunteer defensive unit now.
You know, you love to give these offensive linemen credit when they do a good job. Rathon leads up into the hold, and look at Clint Berry there, just doing a great job on Dale Jones, preventing him from getting into the action. Hilliard turns it into a nice gain.
15 yards on that carry for 29 on the night already for Dalton Hilliard. This is 1st and 10 at the 31 of Tennessee. Hand off to the fullback. Off left guard down to the 26-yard line. Craig Raffin came in place of Gene Lang and is staying in there. This Raffin is a big guy. You can see number 13 with the neck brace is 6'3", 205, a freshman from Houston, Texas. Going out now.
Hilliard came in motion across the formation. When he lines up on the weak side, you can expect weak side running. As he comes in motion, now they're flooding the strong side, and it sometimes confuses the call of the secondary, and that's why they run that motion.
LSU can move the ball, as you see. 2nd down 6 from the 27. Hilliard, nothing going this time. Stopped at the 25-yard line of Tennessee. Mark Studaway, number 98, senior from Memphis, making the tackle for the Volunteers. Here's a look at some of the twirlers and performers you'll be seeing with the Pride of the Southland Band at halftime here in Knoxville.
And there's no question that their offense is better than their defense. And one way their offense can protect their defense a little bit is by maintaining possession of the football the way they're doing right now.
Very big play. 3rd down 4. Tigers at the 25 of Tennessee. Penalty markers down. Whistle sound. Looks like Mitch Andrews, the tight end, was causing some motion there before the ball was snapped. May have raised up. procedure call to make it 3rd down and 9 now if Tennessee accepts that play. Well, they'll have to. It was a dead ball foul. We talked earlier about John Ward, the voice of the Volunteers, who does all the radio network games here in this part of the country, one of the great ones around the United States. We're going to join him from time to time and listen a little bit to the voice of the Volunteers and the unique flavor that he has in this part of the country. And on this next play, we're going to listen just a little bit to John Ward, the voice of the Volunteers.
Rush 5 backs in there in the nickel defense for Tennessee. Here is Wickersham, the quarterback. The slot man left is Hilliard. Fine receiver. Back to throw. Wickersham. Long pass downfield is complete at the 11-yard line to Eric Martin. It is complete to the 11-yard line to Martin, who was tackled immediately by Brown. Also Vince Clark, one of the 5 backs in the game for Tennessee, but the pass by Wickersham is on target to the fine receiver Martin, who has averaged 21 yards per reception this year, and that one was good for 19 yards, and a Tiger first down at the Volunteer 11.
That was John Ward. Now you're back to Bob and Tim at 1st and 10. LSU at the Tennessee 11. Hilliard hit the backfield. 92, Reggie White, Tennessee's All-American defensive tackle, making his presence felt, and I mean felt.
What they're doing is slanting that defensive lineman to the inside, and he's beating the head of the offensive lineman that's trying to come down and block him, and they're just going to have to start cutting him off or turn the guard out to prevent that from happening.
What a play by Reggie White. He's the all-time sack leader for UT also.
In the previous play, Tennessee was man-to-man underneath, two deep zone. They just beat him to the corner.
2nd down 13 from the 14-yard line of Tennessee. Wickersham in the air. Pump fake incomplete. Intended for Dalton Hilliard at the 13. Dale Jones covering for the Volunteers, 54. The freshman outside linebacker. Now Wickersham 3 out of 5 for 30 yards. Big 3rd down coming up again.
They call it the eye cut. Just a 3-yard step down the field and slant it hard, slash it to the inside. Very hard pass to defend against around this goal line area.
There's
a great job by Terry Brown, and then Wickersham went to the back, but he saw the back was covered through it in the dirt.
It'll be 3rd down and 13 for LSU from the 14 of Tennessee. A lot of motion. Wickersham. Plenty of time. Rifles it to Hilliard. Hit instantly at the 13. Number 16, Tommy Sims was there. 42, Joe Coker was there.
Once again, man-to-man coverage underneath. A little bit of confusion in the Tennessee secondary, but they respond well. Ball's in the air, and here they come.
It's going to be a 30-yard field goal attempt for Juan Betanzos, a 5'7", 170-pound junior who was born in Mexico City, Mexico, an SEC all-academic student.
Tablas has to be proud of his secondary there. A couple of real big plays.
It's good. LSU goes on the board first, a 30-yard field goal off the right foot of Juan Betanzos. LSU, with only 50 seconds to go, quarter number 1, takes an early 3-0 lead over the Volunteers from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Basketball season just around the corner. The Hawks open the NBA season Friday, October 28th at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time here on the Superstation with John Sterling and Super Lou Hudson. They'll be at the New Jersey Nets. And by the way, the Hawks are playing an exhibition game tomorrow night at the LSU Assembly Center down in Baton Rouge at 7:30 tomorrow, as you see a political sign there in terms of the coaching situation at Tennessee. Hawks in playing the Washington Bullets. If you're watching down in that Baton Rouge area, you might want to stop by and see that NBA exhibition game with your Atlanta Hawks. There's Juan Betanzos ready for the kickoff. Opponents normally return his kickoffs about 14.5 yards. Let's see how Randall Morris does for Tennessee. Out here to the 22-yard line. Tackle made by 69, Toby Caston. 20-yard return, a little better than average for Tennessee that time.
Morris is coming off the field. Henderson's in the game, and Morris is a tailback, and when they moved Toles to fullback, they stuck Randall down into fullback position. He's done a great job. Just a lot of leadership ability.
Henderson, 43, is a truckload, 245 pounds. First and 10, Tennessee from the 22-yard line of the Volunteers. Maybe an audible there by Cockrell. Short drop, screen left side. It goes to number 33, Johnny Jones. All the way to the 42-yard line of LSU. Number 29, Hobley, and Fordale making the stop on Johnny Jones, the 190-pound junior from Munford, Tennessee.
And he's the best runner on this football team. And what they try to do is get him the ball out in the open. He's been bothered most of the year. Great block. I give Furness on that one. He had a nice block out in front. He's been bothered, hampered by injuries most of the year. Last week was the first week he was healthy and ran for 148 yards.
And 36 yards on that screen to the left side. 28 seconds to go, first quarter, first and 10, Tennessee at the 42 of LSU. Pitch to the tailback, Jones. Not much down at the 41-yard line.
I think you're going to see a little bit more of this formation from Tennessee with the tight end. They've done a lot of three-wide receiver formation in the first several games that they've played, but they want to run the ball more. They want to control the ball. They want that clock to run down. And a screen is just a run in disguise on first down.
That's the end of the first quarter. The score, LSU 3, Tennessee nothing, but the Volunteers are on the move at the 41-yard line of LSU. As you look at the cheerleaders from Tiger Country, they're in front of 5,000 LSU fans here in Knoxville. The game is brought to you in part by Chevrolet, and Chevrolet is USA 1. USA 1 is taking charge. And by Digital Equipment Corporation. When it comes to computers, not even the world's largest computer company gives you so much, but the second largest does, Digital. Tennessee ball, second down, 9 at the 41 of LSU. Cockrell only 1 out of 4 for 36 yards passing the ball. Coleman has rushed 5 times for 9 yards.
In the past, this has been a screen draw down for them. Let's see what they do.
There's the handoff to 35, Chuck Coleman, the tailback. Gets himself a couple of yards off the left side to the 38-yard line. And Auburn leading Kentucky. The Wildcats went in undefeated there. That's the second quarter score. Joe Morrison and his fellows having some trouble with Notre Dame. That's being played in Columbia. Last week, South Carolina upset Southern Cal, but not so tonight. Jerry Faust's football team playing well, apparently. Third down, 6. Tennessee. There's a pitch to 33, Johnny Jones. First down. Out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Norman Jefferson, the freshman, right cornerback, number 8, making the tackle for LSU.
Just a real slick-looking play. He has to get rid of the ball in a hurry, and now the guy with the ball is the guy you want to have the ball in open field. Look at that. He's not only fast and agile, he's got some power. He just ran right over Eugene Daniel.
There you go, LSU dominating ball possession. The end of the first quarter. Tennessee now dominating a bit themselves, though. They're at the 31. It's a first down. To about the 29. Not much more. Johnny Jones carrying again. So LSU got down close to Tennessee and couldn't get into the end zone. Had to take a field goal. Let's see what Tennessee does now, Tim.
Well, Tennessee has had problems in this area of the field. Against Pitt and against Auburn, they were down in this inside the 20 area 5 times. They had 3 turnovers, a missed field goal, and 1 touchdown. And 20% is not good enough to win major college football games.
Second down, 8 at the 29 of LSU. Cockrell to throw his 5th pass of the night. It's tipped, almost picked off. Tipped up there around the line of scrimmage, intended for 12, Randall Morris. 57, Burks may have gotten his hand on it. The linebacker for LSU. So this will bring up a 3rd down and 8 for Tennessee.
A vulnerable area in the zone is about 15 yards deep right down the middle. That time LSU had dropped Jeff Dale into that area. And if Burks doesn't knock the ball down, Dale's going the other way with it.
Number 2, Lenny Taylor splits out to the right side. It is Duncan, 24, split to the left side on a 3rd down 8. Cockrell to throw. Shovels it forward. And a first down for Tennessee to the 19-yard line. 33, Johnny Jones was tackled by number 4, Jeffrey Dale of LSU. We've seen this earlier in our TBS Saturday Night Football, the shovel.
Now let's talk about why this is tough. The linebacker usually waits for the quarterback to get by the fullback before he really gets into his drop, because at that point in time he reads no draw. Well, in this particular play, the quarterback goes by the fullback and then shovels it forward to him, giving the fullback more room.
1st and 10 at the 20-yard line of LSU. Tigers leading 3-0 on a 30-yard field goal. Pitch to Jones. Hit behind the line at the 21-yard line. It was Chittick who made the initial tackle, number 73, a 250-pound right tackle from River Ridge, Louisiana.
LSU is giving them a lot of different looks on defense. They're showing Cockrell blitz on every down. If I'm Tennessee, what I do now is go to a quick count. Try to catch them when they're not lined up in the proper position.
The scouting report on Cockrell has been, Tim, that he has trouble sometimes when he sees a lot of different fronts checking off. So we'll see. 2nd down 11. Tennessee at the 21 of LSU. Cockrell throwing on the run, incomplete. Just threw it there in a pile. That just didn't go well at all. He wanted to get it to Sam Henderson, number 43.
I think he just wanted to get it out of his hands. But Roland Barbay didn't see it in time and really decked Allen.
Now another 3rd down conversion. Tennessee only 1 out of 3 on 3rd down. You see the Tennessee offensive line a little heavier than LSU's defensive line, but that LSU defensive line is quick. 3-down line. Slot left formation on a 3rd 11. Cockrell and Tennessee seems to be having a little bit of problem. It's a screen to number 88. Tim McGee hit way back here for a big loss at the 28-yard line. 35, Daniel. He was back there to make the play. The senior from Baton Rouge saw it all the way.
Everybody was coming on it, Bob. Daniel tucked right up in the face of the wide receiver, and he dropped to take the screen. Daniel just came right with him.
This will be I'm sorry, Tim. This will be a 45-yard field goal attempt for Reveiz. As you notice, he is only 6 out of 10. At one time, 2 out of 6 this year after having an All-American season last year. Let's see if he's over his mini slump. Field goal for Faud Reveiz from Miami, Florida. We've got a tie ball game, 3-3, 11:47 to go. First half of play from Neyland Stadium on the banks of the Tennessee River in Knoxville. And hello back to Dolly. Some LSU fans there, right in front of the Tennessee cheering section. Could be tense over in that area.
And they think the game is violent.
This place looks totally filled up to me. Neyland Stadium seats 91,006. They often have more than that here.
This town is just football nuts. I couldn't believe the excitement that surrounds this game. And they played 7 home games here.
Here is Faud Reveiz ready to kick off to either Jefferson 8 or 33 James. To neither one. He kicked off to the end zone. That means they'll bring the ball out here to the 20-yard line. And Faud Reveiz, an outstanding kicker that joins a long line of good ones. Puts it into the end zone pretty often. Last year in that game against LSU at Baton Rouge, Reveiz kicked a game-tying field goal but then missed the game winner. LSU 1st and 10 from their 20. Slot left formation, backs from the eye. It's a pitch to Gary James to the 21-yard line. Here's our official attendance mark, 94,479, more than capacity. So some folks are real cozy down there.
I thought it was crowded in the booth up here, Robert.
That's where we have the extra 3,370. A lot of our friends, relatives, no folks everywhere. It is second down and 9. LSU from the 21. Wickersham to throw his 7th pass of the night. It's complete at the 23 to Gary James. That wrestled out of bounds. He didn't get much on that. Terry Brown, the freshman cornerback from Macon, Georgia, making the stop for Tennessee.
And he got it off just in time. Here's the Dalton James gang, and they're tough. He got that one off just in time. Reggie White was right in his face and knocked him on his teaser as he let the ball go.
There's Gary James. You know, it's Dalton Hilliard, Gary James. They call him the Dalton James gang. Johnny Majors, Tennessee head coach, yesterday was talking about him, and he says, I'll tell you what, this Dalton James and Hilliard Gary, or whatever their names are good. I think Coach Majors knows exactly what their names are. Third down 7 from the 23. LSU ball. 3-3 tie game. Second quarter. Wickersham. It's complete. Short of the first down. Went to Herman Fontenot. The third leading receiver on this LSU team, and the flanker, former running back.
Good job by Brown. They brought them all to the wide side of the field. The zone defense. Good job of the linebackers getting their drop. Reacting to the football. You can't prevent that completion. But Brown was there to drive him back, preventing a first down.
Line of scrimmage out to the 29-yard line of LSU, and now Clay Parker has to punt. Number 88, Tim McGee, will stand at about his own 35 to take this.
Special teams, and it means big plays, and this is the momentum turner right here. Now, if you're the up back, you got to start looking around if you don't hear the football after a while.
16 Sims was the first guy back there to make the hit for Tennessee. Let's see what the Volunteers do. First down 10 at the 16.5-yard line of LSU. To big Sam Henderson, not much. Yard or two at the most.
On that punt, Jeffrey Dale looked like he was knocked off his feet a little bit and then tried to struggle to his feet. As he did, he was running into the punter. It certainly wasn't his fault. Now, here's where you got to love to play defense. You know, your special teams have laid an egg, and now you've got to come in and make a play.
Johnny Majors is trying to get it home from inside the 20. Power formation, 3 backs, double tight end. Second down 8. That's Jones, the tailback. To the 12 and no more. Toby Caston, freshman linebacker, number 69, leading the way on the stop. There's Jerry Stovall, hoping the defensive bandits can play. He played at LSU as a running back and a defensive back.
He was a great athlete, second in the Heisman voting, and for such a long time was the superior strong safety for the St. Louis Cardinals. What a great combo. You talk about great safety combos. He and Larry Wilson.
Oof. I remember them well. Third down 5 from the 12 of LSU. Incomplete in the end zone. It was intended for 24 Duncan. 35 Daniel was covering. A little bumping going on there. No penalty. What do you think, Tim Foley?
Well, he can jam him. He's got good body position. The receiver tries to get the arm over to work himself into the corner of the end zone. I think it's a good job by the defensive back.
Now it'll be a 29-yard field goal attempt by Faud Reveiz. He hit a field goal earlier of 45 yards just a few minutes ago. So Tennessee hopes to get at least 3 out of this. It's tied 3-3 with 8 minutes to go in the quarter. That's enough to take 3 points that Tennessee will probably want later in the game away. And Reveiz mini slump continues a bit, but he's a great kicker. He'll be back to fight again later in this game. You can bet on that. It remains tied at 3. LSU has the ball at their own 20 when we return. NCAA football, competitive excitement at all levels. The same thrills can be enjoyed in Division II and Division III as you've come to expect in Divisions 1A and 1AA. Join the colorful traditions at over 100 Division II and nearly 200 Division III NCAA colleges that sponsor football. You'll be glad you did. The preceding message provided by the NCAA. LSU's number 2 center, Tom Campbell, still in there. Their starter, Mike Gambrell, still out with a leg injury. Here's Wickersham on a first down. Batted out of the air. I believe it was Robbie Scott, 65. A nose guard from Decatur, Tennessee. Not sure, but see if it didn't come right out of the middle here.
They're trying to get the ball to Eric Martin. Play pass to hold the linebackers. You see the tight end dragging across the formation. They're looking for the split end. He lets it go, but it wasn't there. Tolles had a great drop. He was 20 yards deep, just sitting down, waiting for that pass. Well-prepared defense here in Tennessee.
Spotter Kim Anderson with a great spot on that stuff. It looked like a rejection on a basketball shot by Scott. Incomplete. He was looking this time for Junius Dural, being covered by 16 Tommy Sims. So Wickersham, 6 out of 10 for only 39 yards now. This will be 3rd down 10.
Both these teams like to throw the hitch, like to throw that quick out, that 4 or 5 yard out. That time, Fontenot ran an out and up. Good coverage by Sims. Stuck right with him.
Tennessee is 11th in the nation in pass defense. Interestingly, Tim, only 1 interception on the season.
That really is unusual. They've had a couple more, but they've been ruled out of bounds, or they've been in position to make more plays. They just dropped the ball.
This is an opportune time. Tennessee has 5 defensive backs in there on 3rd down 10 LSU. Wickersham. Pump goes. Man open, incomplete, intended for number 83, Mitch Andrews, the tight end. He was there. Wickersham overthrew him. Vince Clark, 29, the nickel back, was covering on the play. There's Vince from Delray Beach, Florida.
The 2-deep zone, one of the most vulnerable areas in a 2-deep zone, is right down the middle, but the timing wasn't there. Tight end had been knocked off stride. Ball's overthrown.
There's the punter, Clay Parker. He didn't get his punt off last time due to a low snap from 63 Kurt Gore. Good one. Tennessee with the ball. Number 54 with the ball is Dale Jones.
I believe you're going to see an offside called on Tennessee. Let's see here.
That's right. A penalty marker is down, Jim Foley. So the fans here at Neyland Stadium are having a great time for the moment, but it could be short-lived. Let's wait and see. The man in the white hat is the referee, Dick Burleson. Jerry Stovall there with a few kind words.
It is offside. That would have been a big, big play for Tennessee.
Mark Hogan, number 9, is the man who blocked it. Let's see if he was the guy offside.
You can see him moving a little bit early. What the outside man does, he looks in. He watches the center's hands on the ball, and as the center begins to lift the ball off the ground, he takes off. What centers often do is give him a little fake. Just give him a little nudge with that ball because they know the people are reading the football. Even though it does not count, I guarantee you, this punter's confidence has got to be a little bit shaken. He's going to have to be an awfully composed young man to recover that poise.
There's Jerry Stovall. Second breath. Good snap. And a pretty good punt, but it's wobbly. You're right, Tim. It's taken by McGee. Down to the 43-yard line. Goes 88 to McGee. Tackle made by number 93, Terry Russell. It's going to be Tennessee ball with good field position when we come back. Maybe we're not going away. Jerry's decided to take a commercial break.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Jerry Stovall's got that punting team together over there. I'm sure he's talking about protection.
Later tonight, Tim Foley and I will be selecting the most valuable player from each of tonight's teams. A check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated by Chevrolet to each college's general scholarship fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. Both players will receive a Chevrolet MVP certificate acknowledging their outstanding efforts on the field tonight. It's the favorite feature of our program for our producer, Mike Lardner. Mike starts getting interested in the most valuable player nominations right about now. The nominations will start coming in. And we'll announce them later. There's Alan Cockrell, first down 10. He's only only 3 out of 9 throwing the ball. Hands it off to 33, Johnny Jones, a couple of yards off left guard. Jerry Roussel, 93, the nose guard, making the tackle. Johnny Jones, think it's tough to play here. 61 years of football on Shields Watkin Field in Neyland Stadium. And Tennessee's only lost 69 times. My.
And as you mentioned earlier, LSU never won.
6:51 to go, second quarter. Second down 8 from the 46-yard line. Volunteer ball. That's Johnny Jones. Nice stutter step, and he dives forward. They're going to say that his forward progress stopped at the 50. Jerry Roussel with the tackle. Tackle by Jones. This Jones is impressive, a tough player. He's only 5'10", 190. I mean, 190 is big, but not exactly a monster back when you compare him to Sam Henderson, say, of Tennessee, who's 6'2", 245.
Streno and Furness did a nice job getting over there on that screen. LSU defense continuing to move around.
Third down, right at midfield. Sweep to Jones. He gets the first down, out of bounds at the 42. Tennessee moving the ball again. It's a tie game, 3-3.
That time the support was almost too good. If the defensive player gets too far upfield, they can kick him out, and it's almost like there is no support at all. Now the corner is turned, and a gain of 6 or 7 yards produced.
Tiger cheerleaders. There are 5,000 LSU fans here, about 15,000 University of Tennessee students, and the rest are all kinds of ticket holders. 94,000 in attendance tonight. That's complete to number 2, Lenny Taylor, and Taylor goes down at the 37-yard line of LSU. Number 12, or excuse me, number 12, Randall Morris, not number 2, Lenny Taylor. Morris is the fullback.
They're going to have to pump it to this fullback a couple of times because the LSU corners are getting nice drops, and they're taken away. When you roll out like that, you'd rather have a 15-yard gain than a 3-yard gain. But the LSU corners are getting great drops.
Kentucky has scored, but is losing 28-7. That's just before halftime, being played in Lexington, Kentucky. That's close to the first down, but not quite for 33, Johnny Jones. Number 4, Jeffrey Dale with the tackle, the rover back for LSU, making his 4th tackle of the night so far. Tiger mascot.
Both defenses playing a lot of young people. When the number 2 Bandits are on the field for LSU, you got 7 freshmen in there. Not only means that you can expect some freshman mistakes along the line.
It'll be third down 2 Tennessee. Tennessee 3 out of 5 on third down conversion. Line of scrimmage 34 of LSU. Cockrell over the center. Keeps it. Dives forward. Let's see where they say his forward progress stops. It's very important on the spot of the ball here. You saw him reach out going for the first down. Kittock with the tackle for LSU. They have to bring the sticks in. And they're going to do that.
Tough play to defend, and it worked well for them earlier in the first quarter. The little play action to the fullback, the little fake to the fullback is going to hold the linebackers, allowing those offensive linemen to get position on the LSU defenders.
Well, we've got a real tight one going here. Game of just inches. It's going to be short by about 2 feet.
And the fans always, 100% of the time, every time, they all say the same thing, go. But they never have to sit in the locker room and explain to the newspaper reporters, what'd you go for it for?
Look at this, Johnny Majors. He's going for it. There's Reveiz standing beside John Majors, and let's listen to John Ward now, the voice of the Volunteers on the radio. Let's hear how he describes this play by Tennessee.
Go on 4th down coming, and the Volunteers will insert 3 running backs behind Cockrell. Jones the tailback, Henderson and Miller to block. Hand off Henderson. Henderson first down at the 30-yard line. He catapults over left guard and dives for the first down to the 30. Tennessee will have it first down and 10 to go. Blocking that time by Singer and Furness on the left side of the line for Tennessee. So the Vols build a bit of momentum in a 3-3 game with 4:48 to go in the first half. At the 30-yard line of the Tigers, moving toward the south end. Ball on the right or west hash mark. Up over the ball comes senior Glenn Streno from Pittsburgh, PA. The ball's in an I formation. Henderson and Jones, the running back. Cockrell rolls to the near side to throw. Pass across the middle. Complete. Pulled down at the 17-yard line by John Cook. He's immediately shoved down as he gets to the 16-yard stripe. It was Malachon who made the tackle, but John Cook rattling through the middle underneath the driving Duncan, who went on a fly route down the west sideline, opening it up for Cook to slide underneath and make the catch, and he falls forward actually to the 15-yard line. At which point, Tennessee in a 3-3 game.
There you go. That's John Ward, the voice of the Volunteers. Thought you'd enjoy that. That's what over 2 million listeners on 150 radio stations around the South are hearing right now. The voice of the Vols. This is first down, and not much on the right side. Johnny Jones, 33 with the carry. 16th year for John Ward, a great guy. He's just a couple of booths down. By the way, Tim, I talked to John Ward before the game and said, hey, everybody is confused. Is this Neyland Stadium or Neyland Stadium? He says, it's Neyland. That's because I call it that, and I asked the general, Bob Neyland, once a long time ago, and he says, a lot of people here say Neyland, but I say Neyland. That was the general, and so John Ward has said, we'll call it Neyland Stadium, so I'm joining him in that. You saw the time remaining in the first half, 3-3 tie. Wide open. Oh, the number 2, Lenny Taylor at the 6-yard line.
Well, you don't need an analyst to tell you what happened here. There's just a mix-up in the coverage. Somebody supposed to pick up the slot, didn't get there. Probably the free safety. But you hate to say whose fault it is. I've been in that situation too many times myself when you're the closest man to it and get blamed for it. Not your man at all.
3rd down, and the scoreboard says 2 yards. 3rd down 2. They're putting out near the 7-yard line. Double tight end. 3 running back. That's Coleman. Gets the first down to the 4. Tackled by 57 Bunt. With time 3-3. 2:30 remaining in the first half. This crowd at Neyland Stadium on their feet.
Jerry Stovall looking on. That can be an intimidating feeling. Having 90,000 people yelling at you. It's the same thing the opposition faces when they go to LSU. Definite boost for the offense. Gets the blood running hot.
1st and goal, Tennessee. Remaining with the double tight end, 3 running backs. Henderson and Coleman are the fullbacks. Down to the 2-yard line goes Sam Henderson. It'll be 2nd down goal from the 2.
They're just going to stay with that, Bob. They're not going to do anything fancy. Sam Henderson packs a whack. And they're just going to hand the ball to him and let him power drive it in.
Sam weighs about as much as an offensive lineman. It's as though you've got a fast guy on your line and you say, you come on back here and carry it. 2nd down goal. Tie game.
To stop it, but there's no stopping it. Furness and Streno, Mayo doing a nice job of getting the movement in the line. Makes it easy for the fullback.
It's 10-3, Tennessee with 1 minute and 41 seconds remaining in the first half. That was Sam Henderson's 3rd touchdown of the year. Look at it again. We'll be right back. Join us next Saturday night for NCAA primetime football on TBS. The Aggies of Texas A&M, who today, by the way, beat Houston 30-7, will play the surprising Baylor Bears, 3-1 on the year. A&M 2-3, a Southwest Conference matchup. There's Baylor right now, 7-7 tie with SMU in Dallas.
Grant Taft always gets them ready to play.
That game will be at Waco, Texas, next Saturday night. Hope you'll join us for it. from the Southeast Conference to the Southwest Conference. I can't wait to go down there. We've had a great time, of course, here in East Tennessee, one of the most beautiful parts of these United States.
You know, what usually determines the outcome of a football game isn't so much which team is better athletically. Which teams make the fewest mental errors is really important. The big play in that last drive was a mental error by LSU.
Jefferson takes the Reveiz kickoff, touches it back, and it'll go out to the 20-yard line, where now LSU will try to get back in here. We were just talking to Johnny Majors about that. He said, I think this is a better Tennessee football team than I've had. As you look at the scoring drive there, 13 plays. Johnny Majors said at that time, what we need to do is take advantage of other errors and avoid making them ourselves. Tennessee was on the short end of an 11-4 turnover ratio. There's Jerry Stovall looking on as his Tigers go on offense. First and 10 from the 20, minute 41 to go in the half. Fontenot in motion. That's Lang, the fullback. Getting about 4. Gino Magnus making the tackle for the Tennessee Volunteers.
Draw on first down. Nice call. Lang is really a fullback. He's just kind of a tailback in disguise. When Hilliard and James arrived, they moved him from tailback to fullback.
It'll be second down 6 from the 24. Complete for the first down. Out to the 33-yard line goes Gary James, who is the number 2 receiver on this team. Coming in here to this game, he had 12 catches. Zander with the tackle. Gary James now with his second catch of this night. Coming up at halftime, hope you'll join us for our edition of the Chevrolet Making of an All-American, produced by Roe Backfish, and it is a beautiful one tonight. Making of an All-American. Halftime performance by the pride of the Southland Band from the University of Tennessee. Craig Sager in the studios in Atlanta, just 52, 51 seconds away. CNN News, highlights from this game, other games around the country. Wickersham, it's complete to the 40. To Gene Lang. 42 seconds, clock counting down. Tennessee back in a little bit of a prevent defense here.
Get him a little bit more room. One thing that Stonewall said he gained when these two backs arrived is that Eric Martin used to be a tailback, and they moved him to wide receiver. And there you see the brain trust for LSU. They moved him to wide receiver, and he tied the all-time receiving record last year, his first year as a wide receiver, and he felt he had a lot more potential out there. Jerry's comment was that Eric was cut a little bit too high to be a good running back, and that means his legs were too long. He said he'd never seen any quick crane, so he thought he'd move him out to wide receiver.
I saw one quick crane once.
You've seen most things once. I don't think I've ever come across that. You haven't seen once. But anyway, Martin is a great blocker. They get a lot of blocking out of their wide receivers, where most wide receivers really don't like to get their hair messed up or get too sweaty.
You see LSU, Wickersham went over and talked to his coaches, came back with his play. Of course, there was timeout down, and he got the full allotted time, so he was ready to go before it was time. Second down 4 from the 40. See what they decided on the sideline. That's complete to 41, Eric Martin, the man that Tim was just telling you about. You see him getting up there with those long legs. Very fast runner, former running back, blocks well. First half coming to a close. It's another first down for LSU. They're approaching the midfield mark, 49-yard line of the Tigers. Wickersham for his 15th pass of the night. Complete for a short gain to 33. Gary James, Ricky Holt, 83, making the stop for Tennessee.
Good defense by the secondary of Tennessee. Just laying back in that 12 to 15-yard area. Settling down when the quarterback stops, reacting to the ball thrown. Wickersham has got a rocket. And one thing that he does better than Risher, who was a quarterback last year, is throw that sideline pattern to the wide side of the field. He can get it there in a hurry. Sometimes having a rocket can be a liability for you, as a lot of coaches know, because a quarterback will have a tendency to try to force it into a seam that really isn't there.
And Wickersham has done that some this year. He has 6 interceptions. 20 seconds remaining in the half. From Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee, with a 10-3 lead over LSU.
The Tigers trying to go down and get something before the last 20 seconds of this first half elapses. This is going to give me an opportunity to remind you that this telecast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Collegiate Athletic Association, intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game, in whole or in part, without the express written consent of the NCAA and TBS TV is prohibited. The announcers for the event are employed by the Turner Broadcasting System, Incorporated. Picked off by Tennessee. Number 16, Tommy Sims, with his first interception of the year. Clock down to 12 seconds remaining in the half.
Well, you knew they had to throw it into the end zone. This ball's a little bit underthrown. You knew they were going to throw it down the field one time before the end of the half, and this is the guy they're going to throw it to. 6'3", can really leap. But Sims is in great position. Look at that. Catches the ball at its highest point, and a nice catch. Caught like a receiver. Now, most defensive backs can't do that. Good catch. Tennessee ball. They'll just run out the half here.
Sims is from America's High School, America's Georgia, where he played basketball also. 6'5", 4'3", the clock ticking down. That's the end of the first half of play. The crowd happy here at Neyland Stadium. Tennessee leading 10-3. We have a great halftime coming up. This Tennessee band, the pride of the Southland, is great. And we're going to show them to you along with the rest of our halftime features, so don't go away. Score, Tennessee leads LSU by a score of 10-3. Tennessee scored on a 56-yard, 13-play drive with Henderson going in for the touchdown. Betanzos had a 30-yard field goal, Reveiz a 45, and that's the scoring here at the end of the first half. And now we are pleased to bring you another edition of our weekly series sponsored by Chevrolet, the making of an All-American. The Southland Band in one little box. Here's a look. Good first half of play. Just talking to people in the press box out here who were very excited about what happened in the first half, particularly from a Tennessee viewpoint. One person you got to like is number 92, Reggie White. That's the kind of play they've been seeing from that youngster. The strong Tennessee defense, much improved this year. Now there's the bad snap to Clay Parker. This eventually led to a missed field goal opportunity for Tennessee, and you thought the Volunteers were going to run into that same problem, not being able to get it into the end zone. There's a blocked punt, but folks, it didn't count as Hogan, number 9, jumped offside. As Tim Foley said, it did intimidate the punter a little bit. You see him getting blocked. Here's Henderson scoring Tennessee's, getting a first down there for Tennessee. Sam Henderson, the big 245-pounder, also scored Tennessee's touchdown, and Tennessee took a 10-3 lead. A field goal by Reveiz, and there was also a field goal by Betanzos. Here's the interception toward the end of the first half that stopped any hope that LSU might have of getting on the board before the halftime ended. So Tim Foley, Tennessee leads here by a score of 10-3 at halftime. What are your impressions of the first half? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, momentum is a fickle thing, and LSU had it early on. If you let Tennessee off the ground, though, in this stadium, that crowd is going to get them going and get that blood boiling, and they came back and they played the second quarter. They followed their game plan to perfection, and they played the way they'll need to play the rest of the game to win.
As we showed you statistically during the first half, in 61 years of playing football here at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee has only lost 69 times. LSU has never won here. And you know the players know about the tradition and know about those sort of things. We have 94,000 folks here, but LSU is a high-powered offensive football team, and Wickersham has got a lot of talent to work with.
Well, they showed it on one drive, but they've really had a hard time in third and long situations. They're 1 out of 6, whereas Tennessee has converted 50% of their third downs. And that, that can get critical as they maintain those same numbers.
Can't wait to watch this second half. It's 10-3 here at halftime. We'll be right back with the start of the second half. Tennessee leading by a score of 10-3. Now these messages. Both teams back out here now. A great halftime performance. Hope you enjoyed it by the Pride of the Southland Band. And there are other features at halftime. There are the statistics at halftime.
Pretty even set there. Turnovers are always critical. And one thing that Tennessee has done in this game that they hadn't done up until this time was make those opportunities that they had inside the 20-yard line count. They've converted 2 of 3 of them.
Slight edge in the numbers for Tennessee, 139 yards to 69. But otherwise, as you say, Tim, really close. Penalties are close. 1 turnover by LSU. And That, of course, was that interception right toward the end of the half, and the possession time almost exactly the same.
It was really,
I think maybe it was 2 turnovers. As a matter of fact, a big turnover.
Right, yeah. I think there were 2 turnovers, but the thing is this. All LSU in the first quarter, 10 minutes of possession. In the second quarter, Tennessee responded to the bell and really came out and took it to the Tigers. The second half was Tennessee's. Let's see what we get in the third quarter. This is great. SEC football got to be the best conference in the country this year.
You mean counting the Big Ten and your alma mater, Purdue, even including Purdue? You can say that?
Oh, geez. You know, we all have our bias. Right?
There's Jerry Stovall. We know where his bias is.
That's right. Fine man. Just a great guy. He was a fantastic athlete. Runner-up in a Heisman.
You know who won it that year? 1962?
The guy from Oregon. What's his name?
Terry Baker. Good. You win the silver dollar.
I get half a point.
Half a point for that. Here's the kickoff. Going down to Morris. Oh, he's got great speed. Only the kicker is back there. He's hauled out of bounds. It was not the kicker that was back there. It was number 8 with making the tackle for LSU. Nolan Jefferson saving a touchdown. What a return by Randall Morris, number 12. 63 yards.
We're going to see if we can pick up this block here. Somebody just threw an excellent block. Eliminated a Tiger that was on the coverage. Sets it up well. This guy can scoop. Not the greatest speed in the world. Boom! There you see it right there. Came from an angle. Now beats that man. Now this is a lonely position to be in. Jefferson does a great job. Isolates it and just grab anything you can. Forget about picture tackle. Just grab a hold of something and hang on.
Norman Jefferson is just a freshman, and he was back there as kind of the center fielder, deep safety. It was only him that prevented a touchdown. Randall Morris. Tennessee leading 10-3. Good field position from the 38 of LSU. Nothing going that time. The Tiger defensive unit rises to the occasion. Johnny Jones with the tackle.
Kidduck is in there doing a nice job. Special teams have hurt LSU tonight. And I know that Jerry Stovall has to be concerned about that. He's done an exceptional job, fought back from a lot of adversity. Had a difficult year a couple years ago, came back last year, took his team to the Orange Bowl.
Second down, 11. Line of scrimmage, 39-yard line of LSU. Cockrell. Flags are down, however, at the line of scrimmage. Take a minute to sort this all out.
LSU football. Good pressure here by the bandit defense.
I think it's Dubrock, 144.
Dubrock coming from the outside. He's recovered from that injury. Gets his hand up in the air. Nice job of coverage by the LSU secondary also. Prevented Cockrell from going where he wanted to go initially. Holding call on the play. And then Barbay takes it for the interception.
Opening moments of the third quarter. Let's see if LSU can do anything. No! Dalton Hilliard slammed to the ground. A big play by the Tennessee defense. .48 to go, third quarter, LSU ball. It'll be second down and substantial. There was a loss on the play.
Larry Marmee doing a nice job with this Tennessee defense. Came in from North Carolina. Johnny Majors brought him in.
Another penalty marker goes down. Well, Tennessee had the 63-yard kickoff return by Randall Morris. Then the big turnover. See the Tennessee player coming across the middle, Johnny Williams, but I believe the right tackle not in that shot. Lance Smith, 75, had moved for LSU. Thus the penalty against the Tigers. The man you saw was not the guilty party, obviously, as LSU now has themselves in a real hole. It'll be second down 19, LSU from the 35.
Screen draw down, Bob. We don't want to have any turnovers in this area.
Wickersham's going to put it up. It popped down and fortunately knocked out of the air when it was popped up, I believe, by Clint Berry, the left tackle. He made a good play for LSU.
Wickersham will get better and better at this. Right now, if he wants the weak back, he's thinking weak back too early. And he needs to be a little bit better of an actor. Look downfield. Look at those wide receivers. Give those linebackers an opportunity to drop out of there and then just pop it into that weak back in the flat.
It's third down, 19, LSU from their own 35-yard line. Wickersham on an obvious passing down. Let's see if he does. He does. Pressure! That was 92, Reggie White, and 51, Reggie McKenzie. Reggie White is the Tennessee leader in sacks, and you see why.
Position. You very rarely see a man get there from the nose position because they're getting double teamed all the time. What an unbelievable effort by Reggie White.
15-yard loss. The punt almost lost. There's a penalty marker for running into the punter. The ball is knocked loose. There's penalty marker for running into the punt returner.
You got a yellow flag, Bob?
Let's throw it out there.
They're all on the ground.
So we're going to have a penalty against one team for roughing the punter, penalty against the other for roughing the punt returner. So we had the kicker rough and the punt returner rough.
On the punt returner end of it, you have to give the punt returner 2 yards to catch the ball. You've got to give him an area and an opportunity to catch it, and they didn't.
Here'll be the announcement from the referee, Dick Burleson. The announcement was in sign language, as you heard. We're getting some interference every now and then on the referee microphone, and they're just going to bring it back and do it over again. It'll be nullifying penalty.
LSU has to be concerned about their punt protection, and once again, I'm sure the punter is beginning to plead with those folks in front of him.
It is fourth down 34 for LSU. Clay Parker will punt from his 5.
White's just got fantastic feet, and he also uses his hands so well. Did you see him swimming by those offensive linemen that were trying to hold him off?
Parker's had one blocked, a bad snap. He's had himself a horrible night. It's end over end. Down to the 43. Going to be some return here by Tim McGee. McGee, another one. More penalty markers.
See, this is just, you know, on the part of some of the LSU players, just a lack of intelligent playing. You know, be aggressive, be vicious, get out there and whack them, but make sure they're in bounds when you do it.
Well, we have a Tennessee lead, 10-3, 12-19 to go in the third quarter, and this has been rock'em sock'em, but a lot of mistakes here. Let's watch. That's McGee. That's number 18, DeWitt.
Good coverage by LSU. Unnecessary hit. Lay off. The guy's on the ground. Now they're going to walk off 15 more yards, and LSU keeps handing Tennessee good field position. Let's see if Tennessee can take advantage of it this time.
Tennessee will have the ball at the 37-yard line. There's the Tennessee mascot. They dress him up like a hound dog and call him Smokey. Tennessee actually has a real hound dog as an honest mascot. We'll be right back. Major's record here. We have 12-19 to go, third quarter of play. Tennessee leading by a score of 10-3. UT ball. It's at the 37-yard line of LSU. First down 10. Here's the handoff to 33, Johnny Jones. Played well by LSU. Number 44, Greg Dubrock, over to make the tackle.
Dubrock's a junior. He was, as a freshman, he started, and he was an All-American linebacker. And again, he's being bothered. He's leaving the field right now. Walt Harris is helping call the plays for Tennessee. An offensive coordinator, spent last year with Mike White, great Illinois coach.
It'll be second down 10, Tennessee. Three wide receivers in there. Cockrell hopes to find one of them. Man open, penalty marker, no marker, even though there was contact down there. The offensive player can't just run through, as the defensive player is allowed his own area. So if that happens, there won't be a penalty mark.
And they had Eugene Daniel isolated back there, did a super job one-on-one. McGee can really fly, and he went to the same high school as Anthony Hancock, who's now with the Kansas City Chiefs. He played here at Tennessee.
3rd down and 10. Another conversion situation for Cockrell. Screen left side. That's 43 Henderson. He's a truckload. Doesn't get much. Short of the first down to the 30. And with that pass, even though it was short of a first down, Cockrell just moved ahead of Johnny Majors into 7th place on Tennessee's all-time total yardage list.
Screen all the way. Sometimes these are called read screens, where you look downfield, and if you don't have it downfield, you throw the screen. But this one's a screen all the way. The receivers were trying to get involved in the play. Henderson hammers it up in there, but LSU does a nice job reacting to the football, forcing a field goal attempt here.
This is going to be a 47-yarder. Reveiz missed earlier on a shorter one. He hit on his opener, as you saw there. It's good. 47 yards. Tennessee 13. LSU 3. 10:44 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Think about it, Bob. If your name is Fuad, if you miss it, they'll remember you. If you make it, they'll remember you.
Tennessee, tonight's host, and its SEC rival LSU are just 2 of 6 Southeastern Conference schools to claim national championships. Head coaches Johnny Majors of the Vols and Jerry Stovall of the Tigers are 2 of 5 SEC mentors coaching at their alma maters. The preceding message provided by the Southeastern Conference. There's Reveiz, just kicked the 47-yarder to put Tennessee ahead by a score of 13-3, 10:44 remaining here in the 3rd quarter from Neyland Stadium.
I just poked my head out the window here over and talked to Doug Morrow and Bert Jones, who are next door, and asked them if LSU had been having a problem with their special teams, and they said no. It's been one of the strong points of their team. They've got a lot of young folks with a lot of excitement and enthusiasm. They've covered well.
Reveiz hits a hopper into the end zone. They're going to decide not to return it back to Norman Jefferson. And LSU will bring it out to the 20-yard line. And now Jerry Stovall, I'm sure, is saying to his charges, it's okay. We're down 13-3, but that's not insurmountable. 2 big plays and we could be ahead. Saying something like that. Very positive-minded gentleman. And LSU, Jeff Wickersham, will have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Come from behind they have done against Florida, against FSU. Big 4th quarter surges, rallies. Both fell a little short.
Here's Gary James, 33. Look at the play by Tennessee defense. There's going to be a couple of yards lost. What pursuit by those Tennessee defenders. They got out wide in a hurry.
The whole idea of playing defense in this situation on a toss from I formation is to stay on your feet and move along with the ball, staying in your lanes. Don't let them create any gaps or seams that they're looking for. Nice job by Terry. Terry Brown came up, did a nice job of containing the play, and that whole Tennessee defense is swarming the ball.
Tennessee with 141 yards of offense. Hilliard and James not really tearing it up yet tonight, but they can. Here's a fake reverse. James with the ball. Close to a first down. Give him a body. Knocked out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Tommy Sims, number 16, the left corner, chasing him out of bounds. Going to be 3rd down short. Here's a look at it again. Gary James, 33. Trying to go around the right side. He's got great speed, but Tennessee doing a good job of pursuit. 16, Tommy Sims. They're probably the best defensive back, and it's a 3rd down short situation for LSU. They are only 1 out of 6 on 3rd down conversion.
So far this year, Bob, 3rd and short, they've run the ball every time.
They do it again. Gary James. No, he does not get the first down. 54, Dale Jones with a tackle. Johnny Majors said that his defensive unit had been playing well, and we're seeing that tonight.
The defense for Tennessee is inexperienced. Their largest asset is their speed, and they're employing it here. As LSU runner tries to struggle to the outside, they're coming hard.
Jones ran right through the blocker. And here's a young man who's had a hard time tonight. Had one blocked. It was on a penalty, but it was blocked. He had a bad snap. All kinds of problems. Gets this one away. It's going to go out of bounds. Way upfield. Not a good punt by Clay Parker. They say at the 36-yard line. There the Volunteers leading 13-3 will take over. Jerry Stovall trying to rally his Tigers. 9:14 to go in the third quarter. Later in tonight's game, we'll be selecting a most valuable player from each of tonight's teams. A check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated by Chevrolet to each college's general scholarship fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. Both players will receive a Chevrolet MVP certificate acknowledging their outstanding efforts on the field tonight. On the 1st and 10, not much going for Tennessee on that play. Sam Henderson off right guard.
Tennessee offense lost a lot of people last year. Willie Galt was drafted by Chicago. Mike Miller went to the Giants. Both receivers, Darrell Wilson, also a receiver, now playing for the Patriots. So the receiver corps is relatively inexperienced.
2nd down 9 from the 38-yard line. Volunteers in a pro set. Twin receivers left, one to the right. No tight end in the ball game. Cockrell. Screen, the right side. That's Randall Morris. Broke it loose. 47-yard line is where he goes down, tripped up by Rover number 4 Jeffrey Dale. This Randall Morris from Long Beach, California is shifty. They call him too hard to handle Randall, and here's why.
Nice call on 1st down. Just a little quick screen pass. Not a high percentage pass, not something that's going to turn into a turnover, just a little dump out. It's just almost like an extended pitch out. Good job of those linemen out in front. Look at those LSU players on the ground. Then one missed tackle, and he's got 10 yards.
Ninth first down of the game for Tennessee. 1st and 10 at the 47 of LSU. To the 43-yard line goes 43 Sam Henderson, tackled by 72 Carl Wilson from Baton Rouge, only a freshman. They have a good time here at Neyland Stadium. Looks like a Tiger fan to me.
Against the Citadel in some of their prior games, the lead draw was a great play for them on 2nd down.
Auburn laying it on Kentucky by double the score in the 4th period. Kentucky Wildcats went into that game undefeated, and Notre Dame has clobbered South Carolina by a score of 30-6. Up and down season for the Fighting Irish. 2nd down 6 from the 43 for the ball. Pitches to the tailback Johnny Jones. Nothing going that time. Eric Kittuck is over there from River Ridge, Louisiana. He's number 73.
Kiddock and Fritchie again. Looks like they're expecting LSU to favor the wide side of the field. Excuse me. They're running that toss back into the short side, but those players on the short side are playing extremely well, staying in that position and staying with their men and just making the move on the football.
Tennessee and LSU from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. 3rd down and 6 from the 43. Big conversion situation. Tennessee 5 out of 10. Cockrell says timeout. This thing started back in 1925. 1959 was a big year in this series. That was one of the great moments for the Volunteers. In the season's opener, Tennessee had beat Auburn. Then on November 7th, 1 week after Billy Cannon's famous run against Ole Miss for LSU, Tigers came here to Knoxville as the defending national champs. They were ranked number 1, had a 16-game win streak. LSU trailed 14-7 in the 4th quarter, and then they pulled it within 1 point. The ball was given to Billy Cannon, and he was hit and stopped on the 2-point conversion by Billy Majors, Johnny's brother. Now time for our Braves commercial. Into the baseball season for the Atlanta Braves, but it's a sure sign that Christmas is on the way. I can see it coming. You can order Atlanta Braves apparel and gifts for your friends and family through the Braves Clubhouse Collection. To get your catalog, send $1 to Braves Catalog, Post Office Box 4064, Atlanta, Georgia 30302. The dollar will be refunded with your first order.
Tennessee had kind of a rough start, but now they're following their game plan. You notice how they're controlling the ball, using up the time, running the ball successfully.
3rd down 6 from the 43. Cockrell on a keeper. Got it, and more. He's got open field, needs a block. Doesn't get touchdown, Alan Cockrell. His first rushing touchdown of the year. Tennessee goes ahead on a great play. Individual effort by Cockrell.
For this offense to function effectively, you're going to need some big plays from this young man. He's had his foot on the accelerator, but he hasn't really been wound up. He hasn't quite played up to their expectations. But that's a big, big play. LSU has got a long way to climb back down.
Point after is good. It was a 43-yard run by Cockrell, and the score now, Tennessee 20. The Tigers of LSU 3. 6 minutes, 47 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Cockrell, number 6.
Breaks through the line there, nobody home. One defensive back downfield covering a man. He tries to fight his way back into it, but the receiver does a nice job of getting in his face. Daniel trying to hold it off. Almost prevents it from being a score, but it's a touchdown.
Looked like he stepped on the line, but that won't matter as Alan Cockrell gets the touchdown. Alan Cockrell, delightful young man from Joplin, Missouri. Had an ear infection earlier. Didn't seem to cause him any problems there, and I'm sure he can hear the cheers from the stands at Neyland Stadium. Jefferson and James back to take the kickoff. 6:47 to go, third quarter. There's Reveiz. 20-3, Tennessee leading now. Reveiz put it into the end zone 2 or 3 times here tonight. Let's see if he does it again.
LSU needs to make something big happen on the special teams. Maybe this is an opportunity here.
They're going to run it out. Down the sideline, only Reveiz. He misses. It's off to the races. That's Norman Jefferson out of bounds on the far side. Mark Hogan, number 9, made the tackle. Oh, special teams indeed, Tim Foley. Down to the 15 of Tennessee. The Tigers come roaring back.
Unquestionably, the Achilles heel tonight for LSU has been the play of their special teams. They have been terrible. And this is exactly what they needed. A big play. Norman Jefferson, who prevented a touchdown by Tennessee by making a game-saving tackle on the special teams, comes back with a big run.
85 yards to the 15 of Tennessee. 2 receivers to the right side, backs in a split. Dalton Hilliard is the tailback, number 21. That's Hilliard with the ball. To the 13-yard line and no more. 22, Charles Davis. Initial tackle for the Volunteers. 14, Terry Brown on the play also.
Cornerback's doing an excellent job for Tennessee, coming up and getting involved in the run. Let's see if LSU will throw the ball down here. They had a big drive going against Florida late in the game last week through an interception.
It'll be second down 8, LSU at the 13 of Tennessee. Volunteers lead 20-3. Wickersham gives not much on the play, hands it off. They get to about the 10-yard line. 25, Lang, the ball carrier. They're going to bring up a third down and about 5 conversion. 5:40 to go, quarter number 3. Tough territory down here for the Tigers.
Most defenses in this area are in a man-to-man coverage. That's why a lot of offenses like to cross receivers in hopes that the man covering the receiver will get caught up in traffic and bumped off.
Spot the ball at the 9-yard line. It needs to go to the 6 for a first down. This is third down. Hilliard. Thrown for a loss at the 10. 92, Reggie White is there. 54, Dale Jones is there.
Larry Marmee said, "We do not like the blitz." But they were coming that time on 3rd and long. And that's one for the Volunteers. Whenever you blitz, obviously you're in man-to-man coverage, and that leaves you a little bit more vulnerable to the pass.
There's the man who made the play, 92. What a night he's had. Reggie White, All-American candidate. This will be a 26-yard field goal attempt by Batanzos. He hit a 30-yarder earlier. It's up. And it's good. And LSU gets 3. They needed more. It's 20-6. Tennessee with 4:33 to go, third quarter.
Great play by Tennessee defense there. preventing LSU from getting into the end zone. It's got to be a lift for them. I think we could make our selection for Tennessee already, Robert.
It's going to be hard to outdo Reggie White.
Boy, that guy. It's not only the significance of the tackles that he makes behind the line of scrimmage, it's also such an incentive, I mean, a momentum producer. It charges up his teammates, and they get all excited, and then they just keep coming because that defense is playing inspired football.
Johnny Majors talked to me about Reggie White yesterday afternoon, and he said the young man has a great sense of humor. He's a leader on the team. He keeps the defense not only together and organized, but he says he keeps them loose. He's a deeply religious young man, has his head really well together. And I said, what are his strengths? He says, how about speed, quickness, strength? Sounds pretty good to me.
It's good to see a fine young man like him being successful on the athletic field. They're just a tremendous role model for any of the young fans that we might have out there watching.
The 20-6, the Volunteers out in front of LSU with 4:33 to go, third quarter, and it's going to be Volunteer ball again. Randall Morris is deep, and there's Batanzos for the kickoff.
And Larry Marmey, the defensive coordinator for Tennessee, has got some good credentials. He played for Roy Kidd at Eastern Kentucky, coached for him, coached for Johnny Cooper in Tulsa, Dick Crum at North Carolina.
Morris takes it right on the goal line. Remember, he had a 63-yarder last time out. Not this time. Down at the 25 goes Randall Morris, and the Volunteers set up an offense. First down 10.
He came a fingernail from breaking that one again. Somebody made a tremendous effort getting their hand down because that hole opened up in the middle of the field. The wedge is doing a nice job for Tennessee tonight.
It was 94 Michael Brooks who made the tremendous effort, a freshman from Ruston, Louisiana. Hope you're enjoying this game watching down there in Tiger Country, Louisiana area, on the Superstation, or wherever you may be viewing here tonight. Cockrell throwing to Randall Morris to the 35, close to the first down. His name of Too Hard to Handle Randall is kind of funny, I thought, and it's been appropriate here. He's had himself a fine night for Tennessee. A little slow getting up, but seems all right. He's California youngster from Long Beach.
An ex-quarterback. Got great hands and tremendous leadership ability from what they say.
A little bit of a lull in the crowd here for the Volunteers as a penalty gets marked off to the 19. Won't take but one big play to get them on their feet again. Illegal use of hands against the Volunteers.
And that's the thing that can work against you when you're playing in front of a crowd like this. You get them bottled up, all of a sudden they produce one big play, and it seems like you're getting creamed because the stadium erupts.
LSU knows how that works for them down there in Baton Rouge. Cockrell, screen, left side, Sam Henderson. Takes a lot of tonnage to bring that truck to a stop. Out to the 33-yard line. Leading tackler was 37, Ricky Chapman.
Great shot from our end zone camera. This is setting up almost like a punt return. The linemen are getting down in front of it, and look at all those receivers that are down there too, setting up a wall for Henderson. That play has worked wonderfully for them tonight, and I'm sure they'll continue to use it.
Henderson said Johnny has a weight problem. Weighs 245. Said Johnny Majors said keep it trim at 245 or else you'll be a nose guard. He said that's great motivation. On second down. Not much this time. Maybe a loss a little bit on the play for Randall Morris. It'll bring up third down. Conversion for Tennessee, and they're about 50% on those conversions so far this evening. Third quarter time remaining, 3:12.
Shovel pass, great call. You got the defensive line. You know it's going to be teeing off and coming. Kiddock did a nice job laying back and making that play.
Third down and a long two for Tennessee. Pro set formation. 3 wide receivers are in there. Cockrell, 4-man rush by the Tigers. Incomplete. All over him back there was number 45, Freddie Lewis.
Let's talk for a second about Clark, Dale, Hobley, and Daniel. Fritchie and Burks, just a super job of coverage. And so often when you do a good job of coverage, you don't get recognized because the quarterback gets sacked or throws it away. The only time you get mentioned as a defensive back sometimes is when you're standing in the end zone, your own end zone, and the other guy caught a touchdown pass.
Jimmy Colquitt with his third punt of the night. He's a great one. Big, tall drink of water. 6'4". Bad punt. No, look at it. Took off. What does he put in there? A charge? Here's number 8, Norman Jefferson. Out to the 29-yard line, and down he goes. Initial hit made by 52, Raleigh McKenzie from Knoxville. And it's going to be LSU football. We were talking about some of the historical aspects of this series. I'd like to thank a researcher who just gives me a great deal of help each week, Bill Cromartie in Atlanta, Georgia. Big advertising exec and football historian, just wrote a book called There Goes Herschel.
You have more assistants than anybody I ever met in my life.
I need them. I have great ones. My staff is awesome and highly paid. On the first down, here's Wickersham. It's complete to Gary James. He goes down to the 34. And speaking of the advertising industry, Jody Brown, who is also in advertising at Atlanta, has written a book about Don Shula, your former coach, and Tim Foley has written the foreword in it. I mean, Tim, you're in your commercials, you're in television, you're writing forewords for big books.
As soon as I started hanging around with you, good things started to happen.
All right, here we are. Second down for LSU from the 34. Gary James dives short of the first down. Tennessee, thus far tonight, Alvin Tolles made the tackle. Tennessee has been able to bottle up the offensive backs of Hilliard and James. We talked to Johnny Majors about that very subject before this game.
It's very difficult to stop Dalton and James. They're two of the most exciting running backs in the country. We hope that we can slow them down. Not only do they have those two threats, they have an outstanding young quarterback in Wickersham with fine receivers. I'd say the best chance that we have to win is for us to do a good job of controlling the ball offensively and maintaining good field position, because enough opportunities, those two dangerous young men and their explosive offense can score against anyone.
You just see how good a job Johnny Majors has his team doing on coverage. James, the intended receiver, and Joe Kofer, 42, was over there covering. The third down conversion, it failed, and once again, here comes Clay Parker in for his 6th punt of the night. And that youngster's been under a lot of pressure. Let's see how he does. Bad snaps, blocks, penalty markers, knocked down about 5 times, and he's barefooted to boot. Talking about Hilliard and James, they've combined for only 41 yards thus far tonight. They usually get about 70 yards each in a game. That was a great LSU roll on the punt. Clay Parker finally gets a long-needed break out of bounds at the 16-yard lines on the near side, and Jerry Stovall now hopes his defensive unit, which has really been kind of a problem, young groups can hold Tennessee here.
Well, they keep starting on their own half of the 50-yard line. If they can hold them down here, it'll be a big break for LSU. Give their football team some field position.
1 minute remaining in the third quarter. Tennessee 20, LSU 6. Cockrell scored a touchdown on a 43-yard run for Tennessee just a few minutes ago. Henderson scored the other one before the half ended. 2 field goals by Reveiz, and that's the Tennessee scoring. Here is Jones. Only a yard or so on the left side to the 17. Tackle made by 19, left cornerback Alex Clark.
Well, that's that screen pass that they've fallen in love with. That time it was well played by LSU.
Phillies are leading the Dodgers 7-1 after 6 innings tonight. 36 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
One of the things Tennessee's offense wanted to do tonight was just don't do anything negative. No turnovers. Don't beat yourself. So far, they've done a great job of not doing that and making big plays.
Duncan, McGee, Taylor, the wideouts in there for Tennessee right now. Tiger defense hitting hard on that play. That was Randall Morris, 12 carrying. 93, Terry Russell made the initial tackle for the Tigers.
It's incredible when you look at this league, isn't it, Bob? Florida, Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, Vanderbilt can beat just about anybody. They're capable. Tennessee, LSU.
This is what you call a crucial game here in Knoxville, Tennessee tonight. And the Volunteers, with 1 loss in the conference, hoping to go ahead and win this game. But, of course, so are the Tigers, and we have 15 full minutes of football remaining. game is brought to you in part by Chevrolet. Chevrolet is USA 1, and USA 1 is taking charge. And by Coors Light, so turn it loose tonight. 15 minutes remaining. Here's the situation. Tennessee leads 20-6. Third down 4 at the 22-yard line of Tennessee. There's the total yards in the game. Twins receivers on the right, one on the left. Tennessee about 50% on their conversion tonight on third down. Cockrell running for his life, simply had to throw it away. You might say he intended it for Lenny Taylor. I think he more intended to just get rid of the ball, and Tennessee doesn't convert, have to give it up again. A lot of time left, 20-6, Tennessee leading. 2 touchdowns away from a tie from LSU's viewpoint.
Tennessee has done a fantastic job on offense and defense, but they're playing a team that has shown a lot of character in the past and has come from behind several times. This is going to be an exciting fourth quarter of football.
Colquitt averaging 45.6 yards per punt so far tonight. Hit 170 yards earlier this year. This will bring rain under a clear sky. Norman Jefferson is knocked down at the 30. Colquitt doing his job once again. Kenneth Cooper down there to make the stop for Tennessee. Looking at the Pride of the Southland band, a 51-yard punt by Colquitt.
In those same situations, earlier in the game, LSU had a punt block. They had a muff snap. They had and some poor kicks. And Tennessee was getting the ball on LSU's side of the 50, and that punt was just hammered out of there.
First down 10, Tigers from the 30. Slot left formation. Fontenot in motion, number 40. Wickersham. White pressuring him, but it's complete to the 39-yard line. 92 White was right on Wickersham, but the ball is caught by number 83, Mitch Andrews, the tight end. Andrews' first catch of the night, by the way.
He's an excellent receiver, too. He's been a backup for the last couple of years to Malcolm Scott, who's now with the New York Giants. But he can be an integral part of their passing attack.
That was 45 Zander making the stop for Tennessee. Second down 2, LSU. Can do a lot on second and short yardage. Let's see. One thing you can do is give it to Lang, who may not have made it. Lang was the front man in the eye. They wanted a quick opener there. It'll depend on the mark of the ball, but it's very close.
Lang carried. Slip first by Johnny Williams.
You don't think they're having a party on this Saturday night here in Knoxville? I would say come on in and join us, but we're already 3,000 over capacity at Neyland Stadium.
Tennessee is doing a much better job than I thought they'd do controlling the line of scrimmage. You really got to give a lot of credit to those 11 guys on the field right now and the coaches that prepared them. Did a super job.
How close can you get without getting it? You can get that close.
2 things you can do here, Bob. You can pull apart Starr, run that little off tackle, fake the ball, and try to nail Martin running down the sideline, or Fontenot,
or Max McGee, or Boyd Dowler. LSU only 1 out of 8 on third down conversion. Wickersham keeps it and gets it. Tigers keep their drive alive with 13:37 to go in the game. They trail by 14, 20-6.
Right now, they're more concerned with just maintaining possession of the football. I'm sure they don't feel like it's time to start getting too cute.
Now, on this next play, let's listen to the voice of the Volunteers. We've been cutting in and out of his radio broadcast here a couple of times tonight. Let's join John Ward, the voice of the ball.
Back, they've got somebody, that's Hilliard, who is sliding to the left side. He will now be a man in motion, first starting right, then back to the left. Now he cuts down the middle. They're looking to throw to him instead across the center of the field. The pass is complete. Pulled down by Eric Martin as the penalty flag is dropped. He made the catch at the 45-yard line, was tackled as he made the reception by Alvin Tolles. A marker down on the play, and this time it is holding against LSU. But earlier we had that same sign, and then after discussing it, the holding infraction was against Tennessee. Reggie White, that time, was the man who got a little pressure on the quarterback, and I think it was he who was interfered with. And so here's a penalty. Illegal use of hands against LSU, 5 yards. And it becomes first down and 15 yards to go for the Tigers. 13-17 to go in the game. Tennessee leading 20-6. LSU with the ball at its 37-yard line. That same set, slot Hilliard left. Let's see if he becomes, yes, here he comes in motion. Same play, going back to the left side as the man in motion. Back to throw with a straight drop, Wickersham. Wickersham looking, throws downfield, and is caught. But immediately when the ball was caught by Hilliard, he was blasted, and I think he was hit about on the line of scrimmage. Lang was the man who made the catch, and it was Holt who made the stop on him. And let's see where his forward progress is marked. 37, no gain.
And that was the voice of John Ward, the voice of the Volunteers, and it's 12:33 remaining in the third quarter of play. Second down, 15, LSU from their 37-yard line. Pro set formation. Durall in motion. It's picked off by number 22, Charles Davis of the Volunteers. And out of bounds, a big interception. That's 2 tonight for Tennessee. They had only 1 coming into this game.
Davis in great shape on this. Most consistent defensive back that Tennessee has. Goes up, picks the ball out of the air, and down the field he comes. He's also a football trivia expert, Bob. He even knew that George Katopoulos intercepted the pass to save a Rose Bowl victory for Purdue.
George probably told him. There's Sam Henderson running on a 1st and 10 from the 44. Gets a couple of yards. Tackle made by 95, Clarence Osborne. And there's the youngster now, number 22, Charles Davis, a freshman from New Paltz, New York, a former quarterback.
He makes all the defensive calls. He's the brains of that secondary back there, and that time he sniffed out a Wickersham pass.
Turnovers have played a big role in this game, and it was funny. It was almost intuitive of Johnny Majors yesterday. He says, we got to stop making them and start getting some. That's number 43, Henderson, to the 40 and just inside. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 5 or 4 yards to go for Tennessee. They lead 20-6. Clock ticking down very fast from the viewpoint of that defensive unit of LSU. 11:25 remaining in this football game.
The first time we saw time of possession, it was 10 minutes and 40 seconds for LSU, 4 minutes and 20 seconds for Tennessee. The last time we looked at it, it was about 22 minutes apiece.
11:11 to go. 3rd and a long 5, almost 6. Backs and an eye for UT. Cockrell in trouble, and down he goes, right at the line of scrimmage. So Tennessee, on that 3rd down conversion, they were 5 out of 11. Don't get it done, they'll have to give up the football. Let's see now. That's at the 40-yard line. It would be a 57-yard field goal attempt by Reveiz. I very doubtful they'll try it, sending in 21 Colquitt, who's very good at putting the ball down inside the 20, but a potential opportunity for Jerry Stovall's Tigers here. Let's see what their special teams can do.
So far, they haven't really pressured the kicker much, Bob. They've been thinking more return. They're in a prevent defense. They're suspicious.
Lifford Hobley, number 29, is back to take that man, 21, Jimmy Colquitt's punt. He's a junior from Knoxville. His uncle, Craig Colquitt, used to punt here.
Let me tell you what was going on that play, and I'm sure you obviously couldn't see it from up here, and I'm not sure it was going on, but I know that they do sneaky things like this in the NFL. The center gets over the ball and just starts fiddling with it a little bit, trying to get a defensive player to jump. If he jumps and makes contact, it's a 5-yard penalty.
Or if you get caught fiddling with it, it's 5 yards your way.
Right, but who cares in this situation, right?
Exactly, because they want to get the ball down inside the 20 instead of punting it into the end zone anyway. And that's what Colquitt will be trying to do right here. You saw Johnny Majors talking to Alan Cockrell about what he needs to do next time. And here's Colquitt trying to put it out of bounds or inside the 20. Look at this great punt! Oh! At the 2-yard line! That's why Jimmy Colquitt is an All-American. Right there is why, folks. It's not just the distance, it's the talent and the finesse.
You're going to see here the Jack Nicklaus of college football. A little 9-iron shot, rolls it right up to the cup.
Ah, gee whiz, guys, it wasn't that big a deal, he said. You want to watch an artist at work? Watch Jimmy Colquitt.
It's a perfect spiral. Takes a volunteer bounce. Ba-blump, 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 ba-blump.
64, Steve Douglas, a freshman, Spring City, Tennessee, touched it down. First down from the 1, LSU. Wickersham's going to throw it out of there.
He's got it.
Got a man open, and it's caught. That's Fontenot to the 42-yard line, number 40. What a gutsy call. Charles Davis with a tackle.
I think it's a good call. I don't think it's that gutsy. The way they've been punting the ball, they better get it out of there a little bit. When you got a guy that can fly like Martin, it's just a mental lapse here on the part of a Tennessee defense that has played excellent football all night long. Just pumps it a little bit and then lays it out there. Martin was behind everybody. Luckily, the ball was a little bit, or was it Fontenot?
Fontenot, number 40.
And the ball was a little bit underthrown.
First down 10 from the 43-yard line. That's Lang out to the 45-yard line. Tripped up by 46, Johnny Williams. That was a 41-yard pass completion for Wickersham. That gets his stats back up here in pretty good shape. He had only 81 yards in passing. He was 13 of 22. Now make it 14 of 23. 122 yards, 2 interceptions by Wickersham. And there's a final, Auburn over Kentucky, 49-21. And SMU clobbering Baylor 34-14 in the 4th. That's at Dallas. Second down, Wickersham. Popped into the air, and it was intended for 33 James. It was popped up there by David Scandrett, number 59 from Kennesaw, Georgia.
You can't say enough about the coverage for Tennessee. Those linebackers are getting good depth. They're settling off, playing their area, and then responding to the ball in the air. As Wickersham dumps it, they're coming.
Remember what Jerry Stovall said, the LSU coach, about Wickersham. He said, yes, he makes some mistakes, but he has confidence. He's just very youthful, inexperienced. Let's see how he comes back from having the ball popped up there. 3rd and 8 from the 45. James in motion. All kinds of time. It's complete to James out here at the 50-yard line. Short of the first down by about 3 yards. Kofer with the tackle for Tennessee. James with 5 catches tonight. He's the leading receiver for LSU.
They do one of 2 things with the weak back in those situations. They just circle him over the field, cross them both, or they give him the option to break it to the inside or break it to the outside. It's called a weak back short option, and it is an art to make the right choice. If you've got someone that can do it, he can mean a lot of 3rd down conversions for you.
Clay Parker, end over end. 88 McGee is back to take it. There's a penalty marker. The reason for that, LSU did not give McGee the right kind of distance when he caught the punt. That's going to cost him some yardage. You have to give, it's a new rule this year, there must be a 2-yard invisible circle around that punt returner. And it's a big one, as you can see, 15 yards. Watch this. Now, there must be 2 yards around him. Is there? No. Good call.
Short yards? The punting team is bleeding LSU to death.
Problems on special teams tonight for the Tigers, that's for sure. We have 7 minutes, 51 seconds remaining in this game from Knoxville, Tennessee. The score, Tennessee 20, LSU 6. It'll be Tennessee ball under the guidance of Cockrell. The players on the field tonight are products of junior college football programs. The National Junior College Athletic Association urges your continued support of its over 550 junior and community colleges. NJCAA, providing leadership for today's junior and community colleges. The preceding message provided by the NCAA. Tennessee cheerleaders. Double tight ends in there for Volunteers. Running backs are Morris and Henderson. That's Henderson, 43, up to the 35-yard line. Tackled by 98 John Hazard, who's a freshman from Metairie, Louisiana. He had number 98 for LSU had an unusual experience when they played Florida State in the opener this year. He was only 17 years old.
17 years old, had a fine game against Florida State University. LSU's got a young football team.
He turned 18 shortly after that, so he's an old guy now. Second down from the 35. That's the tailback to about the 41-yard line. And it was Henderson. Interestingly, Henderson had lined up as a fullback. They moved him to tailback when they took Morris out and put Miller in. So Henderson plays fullback and tailback. And there's Smokey, the Tennessee mascot.
Those 2 yards that Henderson just got are very important. Now it's 3rd and 1.5 instead of 3rd and 3.5. We've got a good opportunity to get a first down here.
Smokey's a rather pleasant blue-tick coonhound is how they define him here at UT. First down, out to the 41-yard line, Sam Henderson. Henderson's been a workhorse tonight. He has 11 carries and 32 yards. Arizona continues rolling over Colorado State. That's the 3rd quarter NCAA update for you. And Tulane over Memphis State 17-7 with John English playing quarterback there tonight. That's the young man who's got more lawyers than he has coaches. Ted Turner watching tonight. Get out your wallet, Ted. Cost you about $25 million, I understand they're going for. These fans say they're not for sale, by the way. Not much going on that one. Sam Henderson carrying again. Eric Kittuck with the tackle, 73 for LSU. Make them America's team, I guess. Well, tonight, Vols are leading 20-6.
You might wonder how Reggie White and Kittuck on that play sometimes come so clean. They're lined head up on the man across from them, and as the ball snaps, they slant hard to the inside, take that inside gap, then turn up field. And they beat the man that's supposed to block down on him and cut him off. Then the linebacker scooped to the outside to cover for him.
Now we have 12 Randall Morris in the backfield, along with 43 Henderson. The receivers are double tight ends, John Cook, 90, and 86 Matthews. See what Cockrell does. It's complete to number 2, Lenny Taylor. He's down at the 38-yard line, tackled by 19, Alex Clark of LSU. The Volunteers moving the ball. Miami Southridge High School. Cockrell does a nice job getting a lot of depth, allowing him to take time to give Taylor the time to come open there. Down into the outside. You know, these receivers here for Tennessee, Taylor, Duncan, McGee, etc., had to replace 3 great ones who left last year. Willie Galt, Mike Miller, and Doyle Wilson, all in the NFL now. Yep. Hand off to the front man. Inside the 35 to the 34 goes freshman Jimmy Miller, number 25, a Nashvilleian. Okay, do you call them Nashvilleians? From Nashville, Tennessee. Maybe it's the Tennessee drinking water that makes them so beautiful here.
Well, I tell you, you watching Henderson, I played with a guy that reminds me a lot of him. It's just old crooked-nosed Larry Zonka. Just take it up in there, take it up in there. All you needed to do was kind of stand up that defensive lineman, and he'd get you too.
Double tight ends again. Tennessee just trying to control the ball, which is what they're doing. Only 4:30 remaining in the game. Tennessee leading 20-6. Pitch back. Not much going that time. Down to about the 32.5 goes Randall Morris, number 12, for Tennessee. 2 touchdowns away are the LSU Tigers, and they need to stop Tennessee's momentum. Tennessee able to maintain ball control.
Kittock's played very well for the LSU Tigers on defense, done a nice job, been around the ball a lot. When you think about MVPs,
we'll be naming an MVP from each team here in just a couple of minutes. Tennessee with a 3rd down conversion, 3rd and 4. Very important here for LSU to try to stop this. They don't do it. Inside the 25 to the 23 goes Randall Morris. Hobley, the free safety for LSU, makes the stop, and you can see that young man is very happy, as is Smokey, the mascot.
just good power football, excuse me. LSU is blitzing. Just a good job by the offensive line for Tennessee, Singer and Furness. Streno, Mayo, done a nice job all night long. Steve Knight.
Line of scrimmage, 24-yard line. Tennessee just hammering it up in the middle.
One thing that football coaches always talk about is the battle that goes on up front. We want to establish our control of the line of scrimmage, and if you can do that, if you know that you can run for 3 or 4 yards at a crack, then the passing game really opens up.
That time really clicking down. 3 minutes remaining in the game. LSU has 3 timeouts remaining. Tennessee only 2. The Volunteers are leading 20-6. And they're trying to maintain possession of that right there. The elliptical spheroid. That's what they called it at the University of Michigan. Randall Morris. Inside the 20, down to about the 18. Want to take a moment here to thank the Sports Information Director. Want to thank that young man there, too, Jerry Stovall, who will be here to fight later in the year. You can bet on that for our help today. Haywood Harris, Tennessee's Sports Information Director, Assistant SID Bud Ford, and Athletic Director Bob Woodruff. For LSU, their Sports Information Director Joe Yates and Athletic Director Bob Broadhead for helping us prepare for our broadcast here tonight.
I know Bob Broadhead used to be with the Dolphins. Fine executive.
3rd down 4, Alan Cockrell handing off. I think Tennessee got another first down. Randall Morris with the carry. Clock down to 1:59 and 58 and counting. And Tennessee's just been maintaining some tremendous ball control.
I think they'll go for it in this situation, Bob.
It's about time to name the most valuable players for tonight's game, and we're going to, I think, Tim Foley would have to just about look at Reggie White very strongly there for Tennessee. Of course, Sam Henderson's played a pretty good ball game, too. For LSU, Eric Kittock has been a pretty good player. We're going to name them for you in just a minute. Tennessee on 4th down, kept the ball, went for it, and picked up the first down as the clock continues ticking. That was Henderson with the carry. It is. Who hurts deeply when this football team loses. Said he felt before tonight's game that if they didn't have some problems and mistakes and things of that nature, his football team could beat Tennessee. But that's what they're facing.
He's an intense competitor, and he'll get these guys cranked up again.
That's Henderson to the 10. LSU is going to be calling a timeout here pretty soon.
LSU has fought valiantly on defense. They've done a nice job. They've faced some critical situations in terms of field position. All night long, Tennessee has won the battle of field position. And that particular stat was greatly affected by the punting game of LSU. Certainly not to fault the punter, but they had a little bit of a coverage problem, and they had some protection problems, and they had some punting problems.
Sam Henderson with the carry that time. Clock getting down there. 10-9. LSU's deciding not to use their final timeout. And the time is going to run out, and the Volunteers maintain their domination over the Tigers of LSU. They've never won in Neyland Stadium, and it did not happen here tonight in 1983 in a series that started back in 25. Majors and Stovall shake their hands, and that says it all. LSU now with 2 losses in the conference. Tennessee with only 1, and the Volunteers are excited about their victory. 20-6 tonight here in Knoxville. We'll be right back.